That's fine.
It should be.
Red and green.
Now
Red
it should
and
be.
green.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say it better be. Yours, Caitlyn, you see red on yours too?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, we are good. I was going to kind of try to give us like some sort of like direction, but which is the scary thing because I'm a million different directions all the time anyway. But
Right.
I wanted to maybe, I guess, first of all, introduce you guys, Caitlyn and Brendan Schuler. Went to school together. Never really knew you guys that well, like knew who you were type of thing, but like.
So like in the same grade or like?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We all graduated 2000.
Okay.
We are,
Cool.
A couple years ago. We're getting old as hell.
Yep.
And I on the outside looking in, I just remember Caitlyn. I remember like probably 4 or 5 years ago. I just remember the significance of like you posting stuff online, talking about the loss of your mom, and it's like so many people lose their parents or lose people that. Yeah, it's a parent. Doesn't mean you're automatically close to your parent just because it's your parent. There's a lot of people that aren't. You could tell, but immediately when I was reading what you were saying, it was just like, your mom was a huge, huge part of your life. And
Yes.
Obviously with what we've been navigating for the past like 7 to 8 months now, I don't know, July of last year, loss has been like a major pain point to kind of talk about because we're all at some point in time, as we get older, there's going to be more people that we love and care about that are gone than when we were younger.
Yeah,
and,
right.
It's a shitty part of life.
It is. It is.
I don't know where you want to take that, but I'll let you talk about whatever you want when it comes to your mom. And
Well, a lot, right? We had a wonderful, not always wonderful relationship. We had a very great working relationship. I grew up on the farm, so she was my disciplinarian, if you could call her that. She was the biggest pushover that there ever was. But we were on the same team pretty much all the time. We would go out and have fun. We worked really hard. When Brendan came into the picture, I will never forget it. We were at camp having fun, and I woke him up and I was like, your truck is the last one in line, so you either need to let me take it or you got to come with me. And he chose to come with me, which is hilarious.
When was this? How long ago?
2009.
Yeah, Memorial Day of 2009.
Yeah.
Cool. And I think that we just went to bed a couple hours before, but we got up and went, and my mom was up, and she came out and she was like, you found somebody to help you. And I was like, well, yeah, I did. So she just kind of was always like a part of our relationship and story.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a younger brother that lived with my mom and my stepdad and I. And then I have, from my dad's side, an older sister and an older brother. And we're all pretty close. My older sisters and brother and I are more close now than we were when I was growing up, just because they're 15 and 16 years older than me. So, so we just saw each other on holidays and always kept in touch. And then when my dad got sick, we got pretty close because we were his people. So, my mom, she really stepped in pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
And I guess the two of us didn't realize how much she did until she wasn't there doing it. And we were like, what do we do now? This is weird.
Yeah.
So I can remember one time I had the 3 kids and he was working out of town, and I went and took a nap with them, and I woke up and I heard something like in the kitchen, and I was like, maybe I'm just dreaming. Like, I just woke up. I don't really know what happened. And I went out and she was just sitting on the couch. She had cleaned my entire house, did all the dishes, did the laundry. And she's like, oh, did I wake you up? And I was like, no, you didn't. I just woke up. I was a little scared that there was somebody in the house. She was like, well, you didn't check your phone. I told you I was here. But she just really, she was there for everything. She was in the delivery room with all 3 of the kids that she was around for. So.
My aunt was like apparently best friends with your mom as a kid, my Aunt Terry. Yeah.
I remember meeting Terry. I could bring you to the place in the barn that I met her. I heard her before she got in the barn, but she came bouncing down the aisle and I was like, Mom, who is this? And she's like, this is my best friend, Terry. And I was like 15 or 16. So, but that was the first time I had met her. But did she live in Florida? Or
She
down
lived
south?
in a lot of places. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no
Probably
idea.
one of the places.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like she came back, like, she was definitely tan and, like, all...
Oh, she's always been super tan. Very pretty lady.
Yep.
Yeah, she loved it. We put her up on a horse. She's like, I want to ride. And I was like, okay.
That's so awesome.
So-
he needs to ride.
Yeah.
He's never. I'm like, you have to.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
my
I'd like
gosh.
it.
Yeah, it took me like 15 years.
I think I'd be terrified, but I think it'd be a cool
Yeah.
It's not
experience.
bad.
Yeah.
It's
cool.
You have to, it's a freedom that you can't get doing anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've hit the pavement running, and there's a different, like, it's a different type of freedom. Like, I love running and exercising for, like, the physical taxing end of things, and it, like, just feels better. But there's something about being up there and just, it's literally a freedom that you can't get doing anything else.
Apparently
Right.
it's therapeutic 'cause there's a lot of like veteran
Yes.
organizations that do stuff with
Absolutely.
horses and
Yep.
stuff.
Yes.
And when we met Sheriff Maciel's horses, he showed us his barn and stuff. Like, it was cool. You know, I haven't been around a lot of horses. I'm a dog lover, but like,
Right.
I don't know. There's you almost get like a different vibe, like their personality, the way that they look at you, and I don't know, it's neat.
Their little attitudes sometimes and stuff. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Yes. And they are absolute reflections of who you are.
Yeah.
Like, and,
okay.
and the different versions of you.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the biggest thing that I think, like, the young kids pick up on. Well, that I kind of have to point it out so they can pick up on it. But if they come in the barn either anxious or upset or, like, even just sassy, they don't understand. They're like, why is the horse reacting this way? Like, he's not normally like that. And I'm like, well, you have to do some self-reflection. Like, how do you feel right now, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, you have to literally be what you want from them. And they are just mirrors. So it's awesome, like, when the kids are around and they don't want to talk. And, like, they bring out the feelings that you don't even know you have.
Yeah.
And then they fix them at the same time. So
Cool.
it's like, yeah. And so my mom definitely did all of that. She kept me in horses. I remember wanting to quit. I was 11 and my horse got diagnosed with, it's Lou Gehrig's disease, but for horses.
Okay.
And he was like one of 500 in the country at that point in time.
Wow.
We took him to Cornell and they were like, yeah, sorry. So you can keep him and he'll probably live for a year and a half and then he's eventually going to pass away. And he did not. He lived until we were
Oh, God,
together.
we were-
Oh
yeah,
my
rebound,
gosh.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I get goosebumps thinking about it.
Yeah. Wow.
But
So he lived 10,
Yeah.
12,
Oh wow.
yeah.
13
So were
years
they
longer
like-
than that?
Were they like, hey, he'll live maybe a year and a half, or were they like, you can put him down now? So
Yes.
okay.
So it was
Oh
one
my
or
gosh.
the other. And I remember, like it was yesterday, my stepdad and my mom sat me down with my coach and they were like, well, you're his owner, so you got to decide. And I was like, well, he's fine, so we're just going to leave him be, right? Like, so what? I can't ride him, but we'll just keep him around. So, and he went and he was a pasture pet for a long time, just for like different people that would need companion horses. And then he came back to us and he lived until, I was like 22, 23. Yeah, he survived so many things. And he was like the finickiest horse ever when he came. He was so high maintenance and
Yeah.
and then we figured him out and he just really wanted to be a horse. He wanted to be outside. And so that, like, I think that honestly losing, I know it sounds like totally morbid, but losing so many horses, like that's such a connection that like you have as like a young kid that a lot of people don't get until they're teenagers or adults.
Yeah.
And so that helped. I mean,
Right.
there were so many people that were like, we don't want to watch our horse be put down.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm not going to let them go by themselves.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I'll go. Or my stepdad went
Yes.
for the
Oh my
longest time.
gosh.
And he finally was like, are you sure you want? My mom was so upset. She's like, no, I can't believe you let her do it. And he was like, she said she was ready. And we've done it to Lizzie already. Lizzie was 4 the first time and she wanted to. I just don't think that there's enough talk about it.
Well,
Right.
like when Samus, our pit bull that we had, I don't know if you remember seeing that
Yeah.
dog, but Like she was 3. She got all 3 tick-borne illness out of nowhere, and it was like, and it was right at the apex of, I'll say, our adversity a few years ago. Just going through so much, like you know, they say when it rains it pours.
Yeah.
It was like, what else?
It was such bad timing.
Yeah.
You know, and Arrow was 1 year old, so Arrow was
no.
super attached to this dog. But we all took the dog to the vet after a certain point, and we all had her put down together as a family. You know, and
Well, for one, I could never let her go in a room where she's scared by
No way.
herself to
With
die.
other people. Yeah, that
I
right.
But
would never do that.
I just remember like thinking like how important is it to teach kids, you know, how quickly everything can change too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, we buried her together, and I remember I've never buried a dog my entire life. That was a new experience for me too. And I
Right.
remember like taking her out of the back of my truck or whatever.
She was on my lap.
Or yeah, out of the truck and putting her into the hole that I dug. It was raining too. It was like the most
Awful.
horrible thing on the
So
planet.
sad. Yeah.
And but you know, I think it was so valuable too. It's weird. And I think you can look at life. You can look at any loss like that. We can get to that in a bit, but.
Yeah, we had Arrow with us, though. I think you said that, but we wanted our other dog to know that what happened
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
like, where
We
is
brought
she?
her
Where'd
to
she
the
go?
vet with
Yeah.
us to
Yeah.
be there.
Yes.
And
We would do that with the horses just so they weren't really
Yeah.
alone.
Right.
And then they knew, you know,
Exactly.
and sometimes they wouldn't want to go. So
Yeah.
you would have to like wait.
Yeah.
And then like you're kind of all on your own
Yeah.
time schedule. And then it's just, I think that's so important for kids. Like, and I will say that my mom was absolutely against all of that for me as a
Really?
kid. My stepdad was totally like, Mary, you need to teach her life skills. Living on a farm, she will learn life skills, right? Everything is born, everything lives, and everything dies. And he is like a man of few words.
Yeah.
Absolutely a man of
very
few
much
words.
so.
But when he talks, like, you listen and you remember, because he doesn't talk often.
Yeah.
So-
You're like, wait, what's he saying?
Right. And he, as much as we would argue about how to do things on the farm, he was always right. So, and he knows. I tell him now, and I'm like, remember when? And he was like, oh, you're learning now. And so it was hard, like, for a diagnosis to come. Like, I mean, Colton was 8 months old. It was totally kind of out of the blue. I mean, I think my mom suspected, but she never ever wanted to like worry anybody, and like she took care of everybody. So she was like, oh God, who's going to take care of me? And I was like, well, I'm gonna. She's like, what do you mean? You have a family to take care of. And I was like, we can all do it together, you know?
Yeah.
And so it took a lot of like her understanding and being okay with like having the baby around. And she was, every day after chemo, she would call me. I was working at McConnellsville and I got out at 2:30. So I would go to her house at 3 and she had a routine. But she's like, I knew at 3 o'clock I was going to be able to hold the baby. And that's what got me out of bed every day. So that's what we did. And like, I think back now, I said, we were like, I was 23 and had a baby, a young one, and I was taking care of my mom. And like, I never really wanted to be anywhere else. And I think now, like, what are my kids going to do at 23? Because like, obviously you want them to live their childhood and all of that, but like, it's pretty incredible to be able to take care of your parents and that, and it never comes at a great time.
Yeah.
So, right. And it's always like, well, you're not really going to plan for that. So, and then, you know, as things went on, I obviously was like, well, we're planning on having more kids, and she was fine with that. We delayed our marriage just because she asked me to have her real hair. She didn't want to wear a wig. So I was like,
Wow.
okay, I don't really know how that's going to look. So we just kind of picked a date and hoped her hair came in, and it did. It was beautiful. But she had the most fun at our wedding, actually drinking red wine. So, right?
Yeah.
It was, So then when we had Tyler, she was pretty good. I think she had a relapse right before he was born.
I didn't realize, not to interrupt you, but I didn't realize how long she was battling that.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it was.
How long was it?
7 years.
Okay.
Just over 7 years, like 7 years and 11 days or something. And then she had a relapse like right before I had Tyler, and then she was good. And then Lizzie came along, and I could tell that she was getting progressively more sick.
Yeah.
She would never admit it, ever. And I was the type of person where she needed her own frame of mind to be able to live. And she always told me, like, you know, I'm not going to look at this as a demise. You know, I'm going to look at it as the part of the start of a sunset. So she was like, you know, you start up here and then eventually you come down here.
Yeah.
So she loves sunsets, and she watched them, and she would watch the sunrise and watch the sunset. I think she had trouble sleeping, so she was always up early. And then, yeah, Lizzie was probably like 6 months old, and I was like, okay, I can't take care of 2 homes. And I was helping her take care of hers and like helping her in general. Plus I had 3 kids, and he had just gotten a new job, so he was traveling a lot. And so I think it was in May that we put our house on the market. May or June. Maybe it was July.
Where were you living then?
Durhamville.
Yeah, Durhamville.
Oh, okay.
And we had a wicked sweet little house. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was so quaint.
Perfect starter house. and
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was
But
great.
I couldn't pull her in, and so I asked Brendan, and he was like, I don't even think he hesitated. He was like, okay, where are we going to go?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. So we found this house that we put a deposit down on in Stockbridge, and she came, and we were there forever. And she looked at it, and I was like, well, which one of the little mini apartments do you want? And she kind of like picked her little spot. And we sold our house in a week.
Wow.
So then we closed in October, on the 6th of October, and we weren't closed on our new house. We closed on our old house, but we didn't close on our new house. So then we moved to the beach, which was like right down the road from my mom.
Yeah, that was great.
And-
We had some friends that had like a camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a 4-season camp. It was a 3-season camp. So
Mm-hmm.
it was okay.
Yeah.
But now we're in the fall. I mean, it was shoulder weather. Everything was fine, but they let us live there for a while, and as it went.
It just went. It kept going, and we kept getting our closing date pushed out.
Yep.
And she was progressively getting more sick. And I was like, okay, like we're here, you know, like it was nice though, because the house that we were in was so small.
At that point, were you like, was she sick to the point where you're like, she's not going to get better? Or were
Yeah.
You, okay.
I knew that.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing to do is to like, I just remember going, I can't let her know that I know how sick she is, because I didn't want her to give up, you know? And so she tried. She would try to come to the kids' stuff. Every single day she got up and out of the house, and she made sure. And so I was like, okay, if she's like literally battling like her body at this point in time, right, and is in so much pain and getting up and out of the house every day,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do the same. Even though I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, my world's crumbling, but I can't let her know that.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really have to worry about like taking care of a house because it was little, right? I mean, it literally took maybe 10 minutes to clean the kitchen.
Yeah.
And
we had planned on this being like a week.
a week.
So we literally packed everything that we owned into her stepdad's horse trailer.
Yes.
Had the clothes on our back plus suitcases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
It was great for, it's like you're going to an Airbnb and everything's so light and airy and you don't have to
Yep.
move. You just taking care of what you have, and that's it. Very simple.
Yeah.
It was awesome in that regard.
Right.
But as it got colder,
It was, it was
So
cold.
you planned on a week to stay there, and that turned into what?
We had to move out at the end of December
so that was
because it was too cold.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everything
I don't know
was
if you remember, it
freezing.
was 2018, and we had it was like 20 below on New Year's night, and there was like we had a really early winter per se, and like the lake had frozen over at that point, and it was
so
super cold, and literally this place had no insulation.
Yeah, you could probably feel like the wind coming through the windows.
Yeah, I mean, we had a propane heater, and it was still like
struggling.
50 degrees.
yeah.
The pipes were freezing, and it just wasn't good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it just.
So we pulled our agreement on the house because our lawyer came and he was like, I can't let you buy this house. There's, some issues with it. So we were like, okay, that was December 5th. Yeah. So like, I hadn't done any Christmas shopping because I didn't have anywhere to put it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I'm going to accept the fact that we're doing Christmas in this little tiny cabin. It was honestly the best Christmas. It was so fun. Yeah. But I ordered gifts for 3 kids in like 4 days. Thank you, Amazon. And
yeah, right.
I was like, well, at least I can keep it in the boxes on the porch. But
Dude,
what else am I gonna do?
It's weird that you say that because I was just talking about this. I think yesterday, like one of our best memories. When we first moved in the house we're in now. We had nothing. We had no furniture, nothing, and we were eating on pots and pans in the kitchen
the floor.
And like those memories of like, as you're like, I say, upgrading in life or moving on in life.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are some of like the best.
The
memories.
next step, and you're like, you just made it, and you're like, yes.
And the kids
and it didn't matter. It was so much fun.
They had a great time.
Yes.
They thought it was so awesome.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like we had nothing, but they still like loved it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. They're just so good at seeing everything for like just how simple it is, right?
Yes.
And they pick up on like the most meaningful things. Mm-hmm. And so we had Christmas. Our friends came over. Well, they came up from Auburn. We were supposed to be in this big house, so I was like, "Come over for Christmas. It's
And y'all
fine."
pack in this little.
So They came with Katie's mother-in-law and Chuck and Katie came over and their 2 dogs. So we had our dog, those 2 dogs, and 3 extra people in this little 900 square foot cabin and kids. And we were like, we're going to make it work.
Yep.
There was literally no room in the living room for anything
You're all like
else.
sitting like elbow to elbow.
Elbow to elbow, plus there's an air mattress because that's the secondary bed. And
It was so funny.
it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
We couldn't put the drum set together until like the kids were in bed, and I don't know if you've ever tried to put a drum set together, but it's not quiet. So we were like, oh no. But that was actually the last day, Christmas Day that year was the last day that my mom was like coherent.
Really?
And Katie and her mom were both ER nurses, thank goodness. So we moved our Christmas Day celebration because I couldn't bring my mom there because there was literally no room for anybody else. Yeah. Everybody packed up and we moved to my aunt's house. And I remember Katie and her mom, thank goodness they were there. They got her inside because they knew how to help her get inside without hurting her because she refused to go in a wheelchair. So she was, she was very opinionated about all that stuff. And so she had Christmas dinner with us, and then they got her back to the truck. And the next day, my stepdad called, and he was like, something's wrong with your mom. And I was like, okay. So I went up the stairs, and I just remember her being like, I'm not okay. And I was like, well, you don't have to be okay.
Yeah.
But you gotta lay back down. And so she's like, I'm only gonna lay back down if you lay next to me. And I was like,
okay.
All right, well, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we did, and I remember I had Lizzie. I didn't have the boys.
No, I had them.
You had them. I had Lizzie, and she was bebopping around up there. And she came over, and we all took a nap. So that was pretty cool. The 23rd, I remember you had Lizzie, and I had the boys, and we spent an entire day with my mom. And she could hear the kids. She lived at Tagasoke, so there's like a permanent house there, but then obviously the campground. But there's like a hill kind of by the bridge, and the kids were sledding down over there.
Okay.
And they wanted to go outside. They brought their sleds and their snow clothes, and they wanted to go outside, but I knew I couldn't leave her in there alone, so I watched them from the front window. And they were right there by the house, and she could hear them in her sleep. And she woke, I didn't know she was awake, and she's like, do you hear that? And I was like, hear what? Hear what, Mom? And she's like, those kids laughing. Oh. She's like, isn't that why we live? And I was like,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
and she's like, okay, I'm going back to bed. So that's kind of where she ended that. She got up and walked when my stepdad got home, and he was like, what the hell did you do to her? I was like, nothing, actually. She hasn't had any medicine since you've been gone. She's been sleeping. And she's like, well, I can't let those grandbabies know that I really shouldn't be walking. And I was like, okay. So they literally played with every single truck that they had. They had it all lined up. Colin, I think he got a fork out of the kitchen drawer, and he made cornfields in the carpet.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
With the fork.
Yeah.
And then he went through with his combine, and she was like, that's so inventive. And she just loved it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember the days really like after. I do remember being homeless. She literally passed away on the 29th. We moved out of that house on New Year's Eve.
Jeez.
And then we moved up into a cabin up here in Williamstown.
Yeah, long-term Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
Lady lived in Pennsylvania, and she was gracious enough to rent it to us.
Aw,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
I was supposed to
Wow.
go look the day that my mom passed away. I was supposed to go look at it, and I told her, I was like, I can't. And she's like, all right. And so then I told her like that mom had passed away, and we were still looking, and she's like, here's the code. Take it as, take it, make it yours. She's like, I left the Christmas tree up for the kids. And I was like, okay. So I still have never met her, but we still text all the time. She's wonderful. She lives in Pennsylvania. She's since sold the place. She had her daughter Emma, I think was like, I want to say Emma was like 11 when we were living there.
Yeah.
And after we had moved out, because we had found out about the farm here at my mom's funeral, one of my coworkers from work knew about like our housing debacle. So she was like, she asked my boss, where's Caitlyn living now? And she's like, actually, she's in Williamstown. She goes, my dad is looking to sell his farm. He just took it off the market, but he still wants to sell it privately.
So isn't it weird how things happen? Like the
Very,
timing of
Very
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Huge believer in
Yeah.
the
kind of
timing
meant to
of-
be, you
Same
know?
here.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
were like,
yeah.
okay. And so I just remember her sending me pictures like to my work email, and I sent them to Brendan, and I was like, can you call this gentleman? And he was like, yeah. And we laugh about it because he was an older gentleman, and she was like, he might not be able to hear you. I got him the thing to go in his ear, but it's not that he's not listening to you. And I was like,
You might have to repeat yourself a couple times.
so I told Brendan, and we set up the tour of the barn, and my stepdad came, and I think my mom had been gone like 3 weeks. And the weird part was she sent me this place when it was on the market, but I kept saying no, I couldn't do it because there was no bedrooms down here for her. And so finally I think she was like, please take it.
Yeah, it's like right here.
Wow.
Please go here.
Wow, that is crazy.
There's
huh?
been so
Yeah.
many times in the past year I've said like, what are the odds? What are the odds? And it's like
Right.
there's got to be a point in time where eventually you're done saying that. You're like, okay, it's
I don't-
it's in,
I better
it's in God's
listen. I better
plan.
do it.
Like,
Right.
Because I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I've felt.
Or talking about signs, and like someone can be like, oh, that's just a bald eagle, or that's just a butterfly. But if it's a sign to you, then it's a sign.
Yep.
If
Right.
it means something to you, it's
There was something I
something.
read a few years ago that was like every person has, it's not like an animal, but a sign of some sort,
Yeah.
but that is like your
Yeah.
thing. And whether or not you can recognize it, because
Yeah.
it's not always, you might like bald eagles, but it may not be a bald eagle.
Yeah.
It could be a crow of certain
Yeah.
regard, but like there's some,
Yeah.
I forget the name of it, but it was very interesting, like
Yeah.
a lot of
Yep.
stuff to do with that,
Yep.
and you get into the whole spiritual side of things too. But
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We totally are in all that stuff. And I believe like every little thing that I say, I'm like, because I feel like as I get older and the more things that I've been through, and the more faithful I become, the more certain things are like everything is a sign.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it just makes you feel a little bit more connected and, better, I think, just living a life here that,
Yeah, and It's weird, and I don't know why I thought even this is completely off topic. But while you were
It's totally
talking,
fine.
you said something about taking a nap and like when your mom was sick, and it got me thinking about laying down in the hospital with my daughter. This wasn't when she got in the accident either. It was way before that. It just had a memory that I haven't had since she passed away, I think, and yeah, I don't know.
It's wild.
It's probably like the little moments that you're in that moment, but you're not aware of how important that moment's going to be when it's gone, when you can't make those moments anymore.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and speaking of signs, one of them immediately comes to mind to me is bald eagles is, you know, that's been my thing for Tyler for whatever reason. And actually it's kind of become like both the kids. And he had a bald eagle on his blanket. Didn't realize this till after I decided that was the sign or whatever. And it was, you know, shortly after the accident, I was going for a run, and I was like, I normally do like 7, but I'm like, I'm just going to keep going. I ran to Brewhouse this day, and I was having a hard day. I was having a really hard day. And I got to the Brewhouse, and it ended up being like, at that point, is the halfway point is like 7 miles or so. And like, you know, I was tired, and I look out in the lake, and there's 2 bald eagles flying. And I turn around, I'm like, just like trying to process that. And I think it was the first time I ever like was crying so hard that I had to stop running because I couldn't breathe and cry at the same time type thing, which I was okay with. Like,
Right.
it's my freaking kids, man. But and it was also the same time where I was like, I was posting things of me running while navigating losing children and worried about what people are thinking. Like, and you know, I think about like when you post, because you spoke from your heart on social media, and I wanted to ask you and be like, you know, why would you do that? Because I mean, obviously,
Right.
I think that's valuable because you never know. Like, did you ever worry about judgment doing that? Like,
No.
no, good for you.
No, I don't. No. So I think that I was prepared as one could be, and I just was like, you know what? If this is how I feel,
Yeah.
my people will follow that. Like the people that are meant to be in my circle,
Yep.
and the people that aren't, like, that's fine. If it, and I can't tell you, and it drives me crazy because poor Brendan, he gets it all the time. He can't get away from it when it's like, oh, that makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, all right, so we gotta make it okay for you, because like, I've always been that type of person to like, I'll literally sit in the trenches, and you can't be that for someone if you don't, I'm not going to say expose yourself, but your feelings.
Vulnerability. Like,
Yeah,
vulnerability is
you
strength.
have to do it.
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
have to get it out there. That's how you build trust. I will 100% value, like, put that back on horses, because you literally, like, if you create what you want in that relationship, and you will get it back from them.
Okay.
And horses don't judge. They're, you know, animals don't.
Right.
They have sensitivities and they have intuitions, and I think that humans do too. And we are blocked by all of those things by the fear of judgment. And I just, if I could take that away from anybody, I feel like that's where most issues stem from.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's scared of like, and it's normal human nature. And I think it sounds pretty.
Well, it makes sense from a fear of judgment, because like if you ask a child does something wrong,
Yeah.
Right.
and maybe they don't realize they did something wrong, well, you ask them about it. Yeah, I did that. Okay, but you ask an adult that does a similar thing. Well, you know.
There's always something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Like
Or there's the
the layer.
reason why that
Right.
comes
Yeah.
out first to
Right.
make it less
Yep.
issues. Well,
Right.
a child doesn't have a fear of judgment because they've never known what judgment is.
Yes.
You
Right,
know,
point.
and
Yeah.
like adults,
Right.
it's no different than skiing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, a kid is going to hit that jump and
Yeah.
not
I will not. I will not.
they're not thinking about work on Monday. They're not thinking about who's paying the mortgage. They're not thinking about how they're getting there or what they're doing, who's got to cook dinner. No, they're just, I'm going to hit that jump and have fun.
I love that you
know?
skiing because I,
So funny.
You know?
dude.
Yeah.
Okay, then we all have to go skiing before the winter's done.
I don't ski.
You and I can go
We
together.
can.
You go
Okay.
with. We can
Alright.
go to. They
Oh,
can.
man.
Yeah, that'd be so fun.
You guys ski together.
Yes.
It's
I'll
funny,
stay on the
actually,
buddy hill.
That'd be fun.
I went to Whiteface with Brad, and like, you know, and I'm watching like people. I'm like, you know, like I ski stupid enough to the point like I could get hurt. I don't hit jumps or anything like that. For that reason, I'm like if I broke a leg, broke a hip or something, you know,
Yeah.
it would be life ending just about for me right now. I don't
No
know.
more running.
Yeah, that too. But yeah.
We're getting into the swimming season though, so you can just work your upper
Ah,
body.
yeah. There you
You can
go.
crawl yourself to the lake, you can swim across the lake.
You can still do your push-ups. You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
One-legged. Isn't there a term for that when you do the one-legged push-up?
Yeah,
What's
there's.
that?
We had Nick Lavery on the podcast. He's a one-legged guy that.
He doesn't count. We can do everything.
Yeah.
Crazy. So
I guess I was getting at like when you have one leg down, not necessarily one-legged, but one foot down.
Yeah, he's like,
You
not
know?
literally.
Maybe it was a one hand.
Yeah.
That I was thinking of. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
That's funny.
Let me see it. Can you tell me?
No,
Oh, really?
no.
Yeah.
We'll put that right.
I have a
on.
lot of winter excess right here. My push-ups are a little rough right now.
It's okay.
Man.
It's funny. Speaking of judgment and skiing, Nolan, was it last year he started going by himself? Mm-hmm. I think it was last year.
How old's Nolan?
He's 7.
Okay.
So at this time he was 5.
Oh my gosh.
And he was like, Mom, can I go on the ski lift by myself? Because Brendan normally took him.
Yeah,
and I was like, I don't know. Are you big enough? He's like, I think I can do it. And he is always my kid that like, if he says he can do it, he's confident enough, he's going to manage it.
Cool.
So I was like, I guess so. And our friend was like, do you want me to go up behind him just to like make sure? And I was like, yeah. Well, I don't know if he was annoyed at the two of us that we thought he needed help or something. So he spun behind him and he was like, hey, Miss Heather, if you fall, I won't judge you. And she was like, I'm here to help you. What do you mean? He's
Okay.
like, I see you try to snowboard.
Oh, wow.
I work across
That's
the
so
hall
cute.
from her, by the way.
Yes.
That's funny.
So yeah, they are just so funny. They just, I don't know. I feel like, and then this is the part of the story that is the best, speaking of Nolan. So we close on the house and it's got 4 bedrooms and the upstairs is a playroom, but it could be a bedroom if we needed it to be. And like a week after we closed on the house, I was like, I don't feel good. And so Brendan was like on his way home and I was like, can you get the pregnancy test out of my glove box? And he was like, why is it in there? I was like, listen, I did a walkthrough of the house and I found it in the closet and that was the only place that was not full in my car.
Yeah.
So I shoved it in there and he threw it on the table and he's like, not that you're going to need this, but here you go.
Oh
And I was like, came back down and I was like, you're wrong.
Oh.
Tears.
Oh my god.
Oh
You get to that point as you're growing up and you're like, all right, we're
Life is good.
Yeah.
Everything's
Right.
good the way it is.
mainly,
through.
my thing at that time was like from a vehicle perspective, we had 5 seats.
Right.
Right.
You're not limited.
Right.
And now now we're
Now you
changing.
are.
Like, and you have
Everything.
somebody who is completely against anything front wheel drive with high seating capacity.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that. So, yeah.
I had some requirements. It was fine.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got it.
And nothing against anybody in the family. I mean, because it's a whole blessing and I get it.
Yeah.
But, like, I was
Yeah.
not prepared for that.
I
Yeah.
was really
Wow.
not prepared.
Really not prepared for that.
But I knew, I think Lizzie grew up so fast. And she's just the 3rd kid, and she's the girl, so she just grew up so fast. And I remember, in November, I told my mom I wanted to have another one. I always wanted 5 kids. And she was like, how are you going to have another baby and take care of me? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't think I'd have 3 and take care of you, but here we are. And then, so it was literally 6 weeks to the day that she passed away that I found out that Nolan was.
Wow.
So I think that she
Yeah.
was like, all right, here's your house. Here's your other kid. And the house can accommodate the kid.
Yep.
So honestly, I think that, I don't know if life would have been different. I'm sure that it would have, because it happened the way that it did for a reason, but I think back often and I'm like, how would I have processed if I didn't have that to look forward to?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And obviously along with being pregnant, you have to stay healthy. So
Right.
and you have a lot of extra like care and support, and my team of doctors knew that my mom had just passed away, and it was actually one of the nurses at my last appointment before I had him. She was like, who else is coming in the delivery room with you? And I was like, Brendan. And she was like, you need someone else. And I was like, I do? And she was like, yeah, your mom was there.
I mean, I'd already been through 3 of these. Like,
Right. She was like,
we've seen quite a bit here.
I know. By the time Nolan was born, the doctor was like, why did I show up?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
True story.
so I had my brother's girlfriend, fiance at the time, come in, and she is the sweetest little thing.
Aw.
She lived with my mom for a little bit, her and my brother, and they always used to like listen to Elton John, and she would help her clean and like do all of the things. And so she, I remember the day that my mom passed away, she was like, what do we do? And I was like, I don't really know. And she actually lived as a child in your house.
Oh,
which is
really?
extra
Oh, wow.
weird,
Oh,
right?
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we knew her as a
Wow.
little baby because she used
Yeah.
to come over to Aunt Mona's and stuff
Yeah.
and swim in the pool. And
Aw.
so she actually,
Small world.
she was at the house this summer when Bradley came over.
Really?
And she was
Really?
like, you know what? Isn't this the best part of childhood? You get to come and swim in Aunt Mona's pool.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? And
Like,
she was
who
like,
are
I
you?
used to live in your house. And he
Yeah.
was like, when? She was like, well, not when you. But yeah, it was so funny. So she's like, what do we do? And I just remember being like, oh crap, I have to make all these decisions now.
Yeah.
And my stepdad was very like, you know your mom best. You take care of it. And poor Brendan, he wasn't there when she passed away. So I called him and I was like, all right, well now I really need your help. And he was like, what? I was like, well, this is the part, that like you got to step in for. And he had no idea. He had no idea. He never knows what he's going to get into, but he really had no idea. So he came up and I waited because she made me promise that I would make sure that she was at the funeral home okay and nobody did anything. So I was like, all right. So the funeral director came up and he had help and he rolled her in the bag and I was like, all right, Brendan, grab that side. And Mark goes, what? And I was like, I got it. He's like, you got to carry it down a flight of stairs. I was like, I know, open the door. And so we did, and we walked her down, and my uncle came, and he was like, so do you want to help planning her funeral? And I was like, well, sure. So we went, and we sat, and we sat, and we sat, and I mean, you guys know the the hours that feels like eternity. Yeah. And I remember she wanted to be cremated, so I have her right up there. And I asked my stepdad, I called him and I was like, listen, do you want any ashes? And he was like, no. Like, why would I want those? What am I going to do with them, Caitlyn? I don't have them. And I was like, well, how about this? How about if I find something that you would like that I would get it for you? And he was like, okay. So I'm flipping through. And I got to number 98 on the urn things. I had picked out the one for my brother and I, and the shaker thing. And there was a pair of Western boots and a cowboy hat. And I was like, Mary, you're going in the boots. So I was like, so I came back home and he was like, you really did? And I was like, yeah, but I'm not going to tell you what it looked like until I'm just going to show it to you. Because I don't want you to have any preconceived thoughts about it. And he was like, okay. And so I gave it, and he was like, how did you find that? I was like, Mom put it at the very end of the slideshow. It was the last one.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
the guy was like, I didn't even know we had that one.
Well, we do now.
Yep.
You probably didn't until yesterday.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's always around. So then we moved into here. The first night, Brendan also didn't know what he was getting into. I had the kids, and they wanted to stay in the worst way. I mean, we really hadn't had a home in 6 months.
Right.
Yeah.
That was like a home with their things.
Yep.
You know, and I was like, all right, we're ready. Can you bring the coffee pot and some clothes from the cabin? The cabin is literally like, what, 3 miles from here?
It's
Okay.
It's right
Not
up the
far.
road. So he went. He got none of the things
Coffee pot.
except for the coffee pot. But we didn't have any coffee to go with it, so it was
Oh,
okay.
okay.
But he's like, I got the coffee pot, and I brought your mom. And I was like,
Yep.
okay, Mary's here. I guess it's home now.
It's
And-
one of those things you need. And first night, you gotta have a little protection just to
Yeah.
make sure. Never know,
Yeah.
you know, what's
Yeah.
kicking around. And
Yeah.
things. But and truth be told, like we found out months and months and months later that the neighbors, you know, came over and became friends and friendly and stuff. And they had younger kids. They're older than ours, but they're like, so how is it going over there? Good. What's up? You sure? Yep. Like what's going on? You know? And they're like,
Weird.
the house is haunted. You know that, right? And I'm like, what? Like, okay, talk to me. You know what I mean? You're a kid. Like, I think at the time one of the boys was it was 8 years ago, so he was 12, 13.
12 or 13,
You know,
yeah.
so they're old enough to know, but not quite adult yet. You know.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, we used to go over and play with the previous family, which was they were kids then, and they had 4 girls, I think, right? 3 girls,
4 or 5.
something like that. They had
Yeah.
you know, quite a crew in here.
Yeah.
And we would play upstairs, and you would hear things, and like things would happen, like 100% haunted.
I'd rather not even hear that.
Right.
I would be the one to come over here and be like, prove it.
Here I am, right? You know, and I'm like, what do you mean? And they're
was
going
funny.
through it and talking about it, and
And you could tell how serious they were.
100%
probably.
Yeah.
serious. And I've been in houses where stuff has happened. It
Yeah.
wasn't this house. And I'm like, no, everything's like we're good.
fine.
You know, everything's fine here. And they're like, okay. Took them a solid year
Before they
come in
us.
the house.
Really?
Like and hang out for any length of period of time. And then it would, you know, they're kind of because they'd play with our kids, and our kids are a little bit
Yeah.
younger, but they would, you know, be mentors and do all the
Yeah.
stupid stuff, which is now
Yeah.
translated into my kids are doing stupid stuff. But you know, but they agreed later on that like it's definitely different vibe, different feel, and I was like, okay,
I think it's
Interesting.
her.
She's protecting.
100%.
Wow.
I think she
Wow.
like threw it.
Yep.
She was like, I got you.
Not that you know
Yeah.
spirits. There's a whole you can go. There's
Oh, that's a rabbit
there's
hole.
exactly
Yeah.
Yeah.
rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I'm not going into, but
That's a whole other
and I
pod
don't
or
get into
episode, like,
those.
yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I think there's a little bit of truth to
Yeah.
to stuff. You know, hanging around.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You know,
I think so
I think
too,
that
definitely.
you know if you had the vision and the goggles, you would see things just floating around. You know, different things, different balls of
Yeah.
energy, and,
Yeah.
and how that all
Yep.
kind of transpires.
Yep.
It's yeah.
We've had we had a kid at my parents' old barn, and she came to us one day and she was like, I see a horse running out there. And I looked up and I was like, there's no horses running out there, sweetie. She's like, no, I see it. And I was like, I think I was like maybe 16 or 17. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then it just dawned on me
Yeah.
to ask her what he looked like.
Yeah.
Like what it looked like. And she told me, gives me goosebumps every time I tell the story. She, to the T, described a horse where he was running. That is exactly where he was buried.
Well,
Wow. That gives me goosebumps right,
Right,
now.
yeah.
Oh
right.
my gosh.
Yeah, and I was like, oh. And she was probably 9 or 10.
yeah.
And they say that like kids, like they can, like kids obviously they're very honest and they're not scared of like judgment and everything. So they just tell you what they see and what they feel and all the things. So a lot of people that can see spirits as children like don't as adults.
Right.
because they kind of like wean themselves off about it, because a lot of people are like, yeah, no, that's not whatever. So once we figured it out, I remember it was my coach's horse. So I was like, so gotta tell you a story. She's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. We just like cherished her for so long because we had so many horses out there that were like, and she was the coolest kid. She had the best little spirit. But Lizzie saw Emma when we lived at the cabin that summer. That we were living here, but I was cleaning the cabin, and because she had it as an Airbnb, and her 11-year-old, I think she was 11, I don't know.
Something like that.
Carrie, I'm sorry if you ever watched this. I don't remember how old Emma was. I remember her sweet little face, and her favorite color was orange. She passed away.
Aww.
And I remember her being so upset, and I just was like, I'm here for you, whatever. And I'll clean and all the things. Well, Lizzie was not 2 yet, and she would go in this one bedroom and play. And I asked her who she was playing with, and she says, Emma. And she didn't know Emma. Like, I've never met Terry. I never met Emma. I never met Terry. Nothing but that. And she was like, what bedroom is it? And I told her which one, and I like took a picture where she was sitting, because she had like her little crayons and stuff in the corner. And she was like, oh my gosh, those were Emma's favorite crayons. And that was her bedroom. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just the messenger here, so I'll let you know if anything else happens. But so
that stuff definitely happens. There's a student that I know that said her dog had passed away, and her dog, she plays with her dog, and the dog follows her on the bus to school and stuff.
Aww.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. But like, I mean, I totally.
She probably does.
I mean, right. I know.
I know, right?
Like, who would make that up though?
Right.
Like, who would even just say that? Or think of to say that.
Especially when they're little and they don't know. Like, their life is so reality to them.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, if you believe something, I mean, it is your reality,
Right.
Like there's that too.
Who are we to say it's not true?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a fine line.
You're living it.
Yeah. Right.
I think that's exactly why I was like, you know what? Just do it. Right? Like, just share it.
Yeah.
And it kind of weeds people out for you. Right? Like, they're like, that's weird. And I was like, well, that sounds like a you problem, because, like.
I like the word weird,
Right.
I've always, I don't know, I'm definitely
rather
weird.
be weird than boring.
Yeah, but like, would you rather be fit into the flock and be like everybody else, or just be something different and like
who wouldn't want to
doing
be
this
different?
is weird, doing a podcast is weird, like running a podcast is weird. It's less weird for you guys being on it, I feel like. If you're running it, you're weird.
It is weird.
Like, it is. And it's I don't know.
But it's like probably, for you to post things that mean something to you, it's like therapeutic.
Yeah.
Just to like get it
100%.
out and like put it in the
Absolutely.
universe.
Do you know how hard it was? I posted something in January. It was actually, so I was driving to work. I was driving to work, set my phone, hit record, and I talked about how like life isn't necessarily fully easy. Just it may appear that way. And I got a little vulnerable in this video, and like so many people messaged me. I had the truck driver reach out, the truck driver from the accident, and I don't know if we told you guys, like we went to dinner or lunch with him in about a month ago.
No.
And it was
Good for you.
Actually, hold on, I'm gonna pause it, and we're gonna talk. I gotta pee really bad.
Don't whine.
Right when
So you want me
walked
to
in,
stop this?
The bathroom's right there.
Unless you want to, like I'm fine, like whatever.
We gotta kind of leave or talk about where we left off. Talk about meeting with the truck driver.
Okay.
Went to lunch with him, and I reached out to the guy like 2 days after the accident. I messaged him. I saw his name, I think, on a news article or whatever, and I just like, hey, hope you're doing all right. And he responded, but I never heard anything since. I gave my number, never called, but I think it was after he saw like me post something. I think me talking about how I'm doing, he decided to reach out.
Him and his wife, I think, watched part of an episode that we recorded, and his wife was like, do you think we should maybe talk to them? Because we weren't like hating on them or anything. We were like, we hope they're okay.
Right.
shit happens. And he brought up a point, and I normally wouldn't talk about this, but I talked with him a lot more actually yesterday. It was the first time I talked to him in like a month, and we talked for like an hour. It was really good, just super good dude, combat vet. And I was going to say something, I completely lost track of mind. Where was I going with that? No, it was something specific I was going to say. Oh man, it's all right. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had a great conversation with a guy, and he was okay. He wants to have a conversation, and like, he's struggling in a very different perspective. Like,
Right.
I wouldn't want to live what he's going through. Just like obviously he wouldn't want to live what I'm going through. Like he said there's a lot. He's like, there isn't a day I go by I don't think about it. Some days that's all I think about. And he's kind of checked up on us, and he said he listens to a lot of like podcasts and stuff because he drives truck. So he's
Right.
like, he kind of like, and he said something funny like when we met. He's like, it's kind of, he feels almost guilty because like he knows a lot more about us and like kind of like our like who we are as people than we knew nothing about him going in on the conversation. But it was really, really healing. And I think there's so many people out there that would be like, they would have animosity for no reason,
Right.
Yeah.
And
It'd be one thing if that person chose
yeah,
to be in that situation,
Yeah.
Whether they were an influence or something, or,
Right.
yeah,
whatever the case.
Yeah.
But
Right.
in this case, it was strictly an accident.
Yeah.
It was wrong. It was just timing. Timing
Right.
was bad timing.
Yeah.
He said, he's like, I could have been lacing up my shoes 30 seconds longer that morning, could have avoided the whole thing. But it goes back to like timing and like,
Right.
and I said to him, I'm like, dude, as weird as weird as to say this, I'm like, I think maybe you were meant to go through this, and
It is timing, but it's also you need to go back to where it happened and what happened. Like,
I was
there's.
gonna say the other half of what I was gonna say was important.
Oh, go ahead.
It was just that, and it's hard for me to say this because there's certain people that would take this the wrong way. Like I think we were meant to go through this, and it's like I don't know why, and it's like I have questions whenever I get to a place where I'm able to ask God questions, but like you hear that quote, you hear that saying like, oh, God only gives you what you can handle, and like I say like. God must have some really high expectations of us. It's like it's just crazy. But if we or if you can use what you've been through to help other people, and like what we could use what we've been through to help other people, like what's more important than that? Like with
Right.
testimony,
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just think there's the worst stuff you go through. It doesn't have to be loss. It could be anything. Like something we'll touch upon. However, and I want to tread lightly on whatever you guys are willing to talk about as far as like relationship stuff. And I think it's so valuable because like everyone's scared of judgment,
Yeah.
and they go back to that. But like,
Yeah.
whether it's loss, whether it's relationship issues, whether it's anything, we all go through hard times. Addiction.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we are all human,
Exactly.
and we all face it
Yep.
in one
Yeah.
capacity or another.
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
your sibling isn't addicted like someone else's sibling is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And maybe, unfortunately, obviously, you both have endured great loss. All of you have endured
Yeah.
great loss. Of people that you love dearly.
Yeah.
And I have, not in that capacity, but
Yeah.
like we all have. Everybody kind of feels the same way. And if
Right.
you're not talking about it,
Yeah.
regardless of what the level is,
Yeah.
what are you
Right.
going to do? It's just
Right. And I think it looks different. I'll say the journey of grief, I feel like, honestly, that I handled it better earlier on. And I don't know if it was just like, I don't know, I wrapped myself in so much like positivity and like I had a new baby and all the things. And then I was like,
Yeah.
well, that well ran out.
I
So
worry
now
about that
here
for
I
myself
am.
right now.
It's so scary. And like, as you know, like you have a lot of support and then it like ebbs and
Dwindles
flows
away.
Oh,
and it
for sure.
dwindles. And then
Yeah.
I will never forget the one time somebody didn't even ask, just said it, and I was in the room, and it wasn't even to me. And they were like, that happened so long ago, they should be over it. And it wasn't even to me or about me.
Yeah.
Like, I was just in the room, and I, like, came unglued, and I was like, all right, listen. I know I wasn't a part of that conversation, but I got to let you know.
Yeah.
There is no, like, I don't like to not, like, have an optimistic outlook.
Yeah.
But for me personally, the more we go through, like, not having them here to experience, I'm like, crap, that's harder, right? Like, and it was okay when I had, like, my dad, because he could, I was like, this is perfect, right? Like, he's finally building a relationship with my kids, where we spent so much time with my mom that I didn't, like, forget about that I had other people in my life, but, like, her hourglass was running out and we all knew it.
Yeah.
And so my dad came in and, like, he filled a lot of gaps, and he came in and he filled, like, he was the best gift giver, was he not? With his, like, they both were, like, really great gift givers, and, like, it's the strangest thing. And my grandma did this too. I remember she gave us all, it's like they almost know, or somebody knows. They might not, but someone in the world knows that, like, this is the last Christmas gift that you're going to get from grandma. And she made 18 Afghans.
Wow.
And we each had an Afghan. Of, like, each grandchild had an Afghan. Aunt Mona actually has her Afghan in the bucket.
Aww.
So then my mom gave us the most they were the most ridiculous presents at the time, but now it makes me laugh. We both love to clean. She gave us a shower scrubber, and was it pillows?
Yeah, we all got my
We
pillow.
all got
That
my
was my
pillow.
pillow was
Oh,
big.
nice.
It was,
Right?
We all got which we
Funny.
still
Your
have.
mom got me one.
Yeah.
Or gave me one.
Yeah.
We
Still have them.
We still have them, like, the most random things,
Yeah.
but, like,
Kids fight over them.
Yeah.
Not even gonna lie.
and they're not good. Like, she never wanted to give us something that we were going to throw away. And I was
Right.
like, so now every time I scrub the shower, I think of that, like, and how funny that is. Like, and my dad gave Lizzie, like, an awesome necklace with, like, a sweet granddaughter clause, and the boys all got watches with, like, something on the back. And I was talking today with Amber, actually, and I was like, how do we get kids? Because they're just kids, right? And they just want to live their best life. How do we teach that the concept of time is not endless?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And how not, like, there are so many things now that, like, normally would, like, send me, like, over the edge prior to, that I'm like, that's water under the bridge.
Right.
It's, like, relax about it, you know? But how do we get our young youth to understand that, like, don't react from your emotion, because you never know. You might not be able to
not that
fix
serious. Don't take it so personal, type of thing.
it. Right.
I feel like we can't teach that.
I know.
I feel like you have to experience
learn.
Lead
loss
by
or
example.
something.
Yes.
to-
Learned.
Right.
It's an experience. Thing.
Right.
And the kids, like, I mean, it's funny because I only started in October, and I have my little groups that come in. And before February break, the 8th graders I have a ton of fidgets, and they have, you know, those pop tube things that make noise. That all the parents are like, I had 3 8th graders that were around me going like this and all over, and I was just typing.
Or the ones that are like,
Yes.
like,
so they had them all, and all the noise, and they were like, why are you not getting annoyed? I'm like,
you know, it's funny you say
it
that.
doesn't bother me.
No, because Bradley will often ask, like, is that annoying you? Is that annoying you? I'm like, no, I can block it out.
Right.
Most of the time, like 99% of the time, I can block out anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, but, you know, he's 12 and he makes noises and,
Yeah.
you know, you're around it all day, you block it
And
out.
he's looking for, you know, just to see how far it can go.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Not,
just,
not to be annoying, but
That's
but
funny.
then when, like, if you do it back, they're like, that's really annoying. And I'm like, I know, you
Do it
gotta
more.
build up the armor.
Yes, yeah.
They kind of took it as, I was like, so guys, the next time that you, like, feel like you're gonna get upset about something, instead of, like, blurting what comes into your head, think about that.
Right.
Like, is it really that bad? Or can I, like, let it go? And they were like, but how do you do that? And I'm like, I don't have an answer because I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things, like, we each block different things out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, like,
there's a lot that
I'm
I
sure
can
that
just
you guys
let
are the
go.
same.
My 20-year-old is like, I'm not like you. I can't do that. And I'm like, well, I'm like 41 years old. It's taken me a long time to learn that.
Right.
So how do we teach our younger kids that? I don't know.
I know, it's
I
so
think
hard.
it's years of experience maybe, and
And I think that they just get stronger.
right.
Just life. And
like
like you, I
working it
think as a
out.
parent, you don't want to, sometimes the harder parts of life, you're like trying to, not shield your child, but like,
Yeah.
learn from me a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
don't touch the hot burner type of
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
But those are the lessons they need to learn. They need
Yeah.
to figure out
Yep.
this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
And also not dismissing their feelings. If you feel a certain way,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can feel a certain way without making them feel like they shouldn't.
Yeah.
But teaching them to, like, you know, it's done. It's out of your control. What are you going to do? Nothing, probably. Just kind of let it go.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Find
it's
other
okay.
things.
Right. Life goes on.
Life is okay.
Right.
It's not, I don't know.
And I think for, like, a lot of our kids, I don't know how you guys feel. Like, obviously, we all have social media and all the things. I struggle sometimes with, like, I remember going through, like, just parenthood, like, having young kids, and, like, you needed to have, like, a family look a certain way and be, and it put a lot of stress. And, like, now I'm looking back and I'm like, why was that? Why was that a big deal? Like, why was I worried about that?
Yeah.
Like, birthday parties. I remember, like, planning for months about birthday parties. Now I'm like, literally, let's order some pizza. Finally. Get all of your friends here.
Yeah.
And, like,
Hang
it
out,
is
have
what it
fun.
is.
Right.
Yeah.
Please try not to wreck or break anything, okay?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and hopefully you're all in one
You
piece.
know, growing up, like I remember that our second oldest boy, you know, he always was kind of in the wings of things. He had an older brother who got the first of everything.
Yeah. Right.
And so
right.
he was in the wings of things, but he was the social butterfly, and so we always had friends, but we would try to do and go here and go there for birthday parties. And quite honestly, I think one of the latter ones that we had, we literally set a tarp up out back and had a slip and slide
Oh, nice.
birthday party.
That's
and
all I wanted.
Oh,
They loved it.
so fun.
Like
yeah.
his buddies came up and they were just
Simple.
Yeah.
cruising down the yard, you know,
Yeah.
and we lost our grass for a solid month after that.
Hey,
but
totally worth it.
definitely.
Yeah.
You know, and it was so simple and
Yeah.
so easy and just
Yep.
quick, and it was just like it kind
Yeah.
of like we had these expectations as parents. Like
Yeah.
we want this to be great and have
Yeah.
fun and be amazing and all this fun stuff, and it's like sometimes bring it back down to a 12-year-old perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's amazing and fun to them?
A lot of
Right.
times in life, the less is more. It's like
It's-
really
I think,
true.
yeah, it's a lot of times it's the same things that were awesome when we were a kid are the things that are still cool nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they just haven't figured out
just don't
super
know it.
soakers yet.
They just,
Yes.
yeah, because they've been replaced by iPads,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
phones,
Yeah.
and
Riding
All the
bikes
things.
down the sidewalk
know.
Dude,
that doesn't
right.
exist
And
anymore.
you have to
Riding
come home
bikes.
at night.
Yeah.
Like, riding bikes,
Brad,
period.
Brad
Yeah.
rides his bike
He
and
does.
stuff.
Yeah.
and-
Well,
Yeah.
you're
Yes.
you're active though, so that's the biggest thing. Like you
Yeah.
do get out. And
Yeah.
he's either going to sit there by himself or he's going to go with you.
Yep.
Right. Right.
Yep. And
He
that,
may
that's
not want to be able to run, but he can ride his bike.
Yeah.
yeah, most of the time that's his choice too. Be like, I'll ride a
Yeah.
bike with you.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I'll
But even
FaceTime
like
you.
when we were driving to North Carolina a few weeks ago, and I was like, you know, he was on his phone, and I'm like, okay, and I'm looking back there, and I'm like, hey, Brad, why don't you get off the phone and look out the window?
Right.
Like, it's so important. Actually, I talked about this. I think actually I talked about this on the last recording that we did with Senator Walzak. It was like there's so much creativity that's developed from kids being bored, and when they're bored, their mind's forced to create something to entertain themselves. Kids constantly have that dopamine hit now 24/7 where they're just like either they're scrolling or playing video games. I'm not against video games. I played video games a lot as a kid. And like it's just like what is social media doing to kids? What are phones doing to kids or adults?
Just
It's
that
like-
source of
Yeah.
dopamine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scares me.
Just source. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if you go into anywhere
Yeah.
in public,
yeah.
and if there's a down minute,
Yep.
Your doctor's
if you're in a
office.
if you're in the waiting room,
anywhere.
Everyone's like,
dude, if you're not holding your phone like this, scrolling, you're
Yeah.
weird.
you're
looking
definitely
around.
the odd man
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Talking to people,
100%.
Right.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our oldest is nearing 16, and he is, I mean, he has social media. He does spend I'd say, a decent amount of time on his phone. He's also pretty creative. He's got a good mix of everything. But like as we're driving around, and I am not the one. If we're on a time crunch, which a lot of times we are, we're driving down the straightest route. Otherwise, like, let's take the back road. Let's go here. Let's go there. Let's figure out. And that's just my nature. I like, winding around. And so the point is, like, I'd be talking to him and doing whatever. Like, where are we? You're almost 16. You're going to be driving soon. Where are we?
I like it.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, I'm like, okay, you have to pay more attention to where we're going and what we're doing.
I just kicked you out right now because you go home.
Right, exactly. And like he'll ride his snowmobile places.
Oh, wow.
And so he figures that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we're driving though, and so here's your streets and kind of what direction, like where's your sense of direction, the whole night. He goes,
Bradley.
Yeah.
No.
we have Google.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
maps, and I'm like, you do. And I'm not
Until
saying,
you don't.
and I'm not saying that you won't have that, but
Until it takes you down
It's
a
a-
snow-covered road.
Yeah.
You could be the truck driver down the snowmobile trails.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, but just
Yeah.
just get above it, and
Right.
figure it out before
Yeah.
you
Yep.
rely on the technology.
Right.
Yeah.
It's wicked convenient. Don't get me wrong. Like,
It's
Yeah.
only getting
me
more convenient.
and Google and I, we have a race. Who's
Yeah.
going to beat that time? And I am beating that time.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just social media. There's benefits. There's
Yeah.
lots of
course,
information.
but-
Having information at your fingertips.
Yeah.
As a network technician, right?
Yeah.
So, what you had to do when we were younger, if you were interested in that type of thing,
Yeah.
to find information versus what you can do now.
Oh my gosh, man.
It's like,
the whole dynamic.
Oh,
shift.
hey, we got to go get a book to get the manual to figure out how to interface this versus.
And then it
Still
went to
right.
Google, and now it's
Well,
transitioned to AI, which that's a whole
crazy.
podcast. And talking
but that
about
Yeah.
that goes back to like MapQuest that
Right.
we had to print out, and then
Yeah.
versus when I was younger,
Yeah.
that's what we did.
Yep.
They had
And kids now would be like, "What does this even mean?"
they had chisels and stone when you were younger.
Yeah.
We're all younger than you.
I mean, that is, that's
Yeah.
true. I did
got-
have
she's
MapQuest.
got us by like 3
Okay.
years, so
Okay. Hey, all right.
I had the gray hair. I think I got it.
I got a lot of gray hair.
I don't know. I don't know.
The guys. The
I got
guys
you.
are gray.
I got you. Don't worry.
Oh
I
my
gotcha.
gosh. It's funny.
Must run in the blood,
Oh man.
It's crazy. We've also too, like, just with, like I said, like with loss and all the things, we don't necessarily hide we're not going to argue in front of the kids, but we're also not going to not let them know that, like, hey, it's okay to have a relationship issue, whether it's with me, whether it's with dad, whether it's with each other. Like, all of life is full of relationships. And if you think that you can only have a good relationship and, if you make somebody mad, they're going to be done with you and all the things, like, there are some people like that, and those are not your people. You know what I'm saying? Like, let them go, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's reason to try, and it might not always be pretty. Sometimes you have to hit really rock hard walls and
Yeah.
literally shake everything up and be like, this isn't working, and then fix it. Whatever. But I also like I said, if you're not vulnerable, then are you going to change? Like, are you a workable piece of clay?
Right.
So like, I feel like vulnerability really like gives you the ability to change. And it's kind of that gateway. My mom always said that. She was like, if you are not willing to open yourself up, you are never going to be able to fix things. So I think that, obviously life came at us at 22 pretty hard and fast. We had 4 kids in, I don't know how many years.
We've
10?
done it 31.
Yeah,
So.
like 9 years. And, my
quick.
mom was sick and we moved houses and all of the things. And then my dad got sick, and my dad was sick pretty intensively in the hospital, not home. So I didn't have the flexibility that I did with my mom to be able to like bring her to my house.
Yeah.
I had to go to him because he was
What year was that?
24?
Yeah.
Yes, so,
Okay.
man, I can't believe it's been that long.
No,
Like,
23.
23, 24.
23. He passed away on the 24.
Yeah.
Wow.
Passed away on New Year's Day of 24. So that was hard. Like that was really taxing on all of us. But I just talked to my sister about it the other day, actually, and we were like, we didn't. It also sounds kind of morbid, I guess, that we didn't realize how taxing it was on all of us. Like you just trudge through it, and like like when your loved one's ill or sick, you just like go and you show up, but you don't realize like how much your life freezes and what a weight it is and like how taxing it is. And we both kind of had to recover from what do we do with our time afterwards. It was like, oh my gosh, like we actually have and I feel like I did that twice. Like I did it for my mom and for my dad. And I mean, Brendan held the fort down. I would leave Camden every day at 3 and just show back up here at like 9. And
what was he sick with? I don't remember.
He had a slew of issues. It started with cardiac.
Yeah, he had a heart attack, remember? Or he had a pacemaker.
How old was
years
he?
ago.
He did. Oh, Lord.
76?
How old was I when he died?
75.
He was 76 he would have been 77.
He would have been
So
79 this year.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 76.
We're 40 years apart, so that's the only reason I asked. So he went in for like a cardiac issue, and then he had a wound, and then he was in and out of rehab. But then he was on IV antibiotics that like made him like go into like, it was almost like a coma, I guess, right?
Yeah.
He lost his memory at first, and in the rehab that he went to, they were like, they just thought he had dementia. And I was like, no, my dad is really with it. Like, this isn't normal.
Wow.
And it all stemmed back to the antibiotic he was on. But then he went back into the hospital after rehab, and he was just unresponsive, like in a coma from this antibiotic. And it was obviously trying to do its job, but it took away everything else. And I guess I probably missed that part of the side effects. I don't really know how I would, but I did. And so I was like, all right, it was in July. I was like, this is it. Like, how do you prepare your family again, right? And then they took him off the antibiotic, and he little by little came back.
Wow.
That's
Well,
so like
Very strange, but like came back to the fact of my brother. I will never forget it. He sent my sister and I a text message, and he was like, Dad was doing something weird with his hands. Like he was like looking at his hands like this, and he would like hold that and like look in front of it. And like the way that he was describing it. And I was like, well, I'm going to go see him later. And then after I went and saw him, I was like, it reminds me of a baby just finding their hands. And they're like, what are these things? And
what do
like,
they do? Like,
and then like that's literally how he came back.
Wow.
Doesn't remember any of it.
So he was gone when he was on the antibiotics.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
And then he went into rehab and was in rehab for a couple weeks and doesn't remember it. Like doesn't remember being there. And then he went back into the hospital, and then he went back into rehab, and then he went home, and then he went back into the hospital and finally passed. But it's just like the ebbs and the flows. But again, we didn't really hide it from the kids. Like,
Nope.
And I tell everybody, like, if you can, just go. And like, he was super great about it. Like, I mean, he's got the 4 kids and a full-time job, and the farm and everything else. And I was like, I have to go be with my dad. The hardest part was, and I didn't even realize it until afterwards, that I was like doing the trips alone and how taxing they were. I was driving to Utica every day, twice, and back.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's awful. I remember him coming with me one day, and I was like, this is so much better.
Yeah.
But like, we couldn't both go all the time, right? Like we had the kids at home, so one of us had to go. But I sent him in for Father's Day. I was like, you got to go in and talk to Dad. Like, he needs to see, like, he needed to see all the kids. And it's just so important, like, when just time. You don't get that back. You might be able to leave people money, but then they're going to misuse it anyway. So, like, just go spend time with people.
Yeah.
And doesn't stop for us.
No,
Yeah.
it really doesn't. I mean, it's a hard and fast deadline, and then you're like,
Where did it go? Yeah.
oh shit, life just like, it's like, unfortunately, it's never the same, and then everybody says a new normal. And I always said, there is nothing flipping normal about this. So I don't know why you keep saying that.
Yeah.
There's nothing normal about it. I mean, I'm sure that your insides are upside down and sideways and thrown in like a Yahtzee can every day.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know, just like you said earlier, how you're going to wake up. And I think that's the hardest part for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how I'm going to wake up in the morning.
Do you struggle with that too?
Oh my gosh, man. Dude, it's weird. It's surreal because like it's never one kid or both kids at the same time either. It's always like one or the other. It's like one is like, I don't want to say haunting, but like the memories just, flowing, and it's weird because it's like memories are like, what's more important than memories? But at the same time, it's like there's such a double-edged sword. And then nowadays with technology, like people. And I remember literally thinking about this, speaking of that person, our friend that lost his wife, like thinking about technology reminding you what's gone. Like Google Photos, like I say fortunately and unfortunately, I take so many pictures.
Yeah.
We take so many pictures.
Yeah.
So it's like every morning you wake up, memories with Tyler, memories with Kylie, and Aaron, or the other kids, or us. And it's like,
normally it'd be great, grand, wonderful, like, remember where they were, and then in this case, like you said, it's a double-edged sword. You're
Right.
It's
Well, it's like back in the
never know
day,
what's
if like whenever you would think of them, you would go to like a photo album. It wouldn't be thrown in your face every single day.
Unexpected.
Right.
So it's what does that do to the grieving process? Is it healthy? I mean, nobody knows because it's all like I don't know about you guys.
new.
I have Google or cloud storage of photos going back to like 2016, maybe 2017, and like, but before that, there's nothing. And it's like, are there memories that are just not there? No, there's memories that are just somewhere in here that I have a hard time. And that's the other thing. Like I have so many memories. I have a whole different life with an entirely different person than her. I was with my ex-wife for 14 years, and like that was difficult because it was like one day, I don't remember what month it was, but it was like, I'm like, things weren't always bad between us. We were together a long time, and it's like I never agreed for losing that person, and it like kind of clicked where I'm like, I said this for years, even after we split up, like we didn't have a better relationship. We didn't. When we had 3 kids together, we had all these memories, and like that's a 14 years. It's
a long time, especially when you're we're we're not old per se.
It
Well,
depends on your
especially
definition.
when you're together since you were like 14, 15 years old.
Right.
You go through a lot of different
Phases.
different important parts and times in your life.
Yeah, I mean, you basically
Right.
know all the things,
Right.
And then,
start to finish.
Yeah.
and then there's things that people don't think of. Like, and I wanted to ask you guys this question, like on the outside looking in, like when you guys found out about like what we were navigating, like how did that impact you guys? Or, like, what thoughts did you have? And I mean, like you can say anything you won't.
Yeah.
I
I was tore up
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
He was like,
That caught me.
yeah.
I mean, obviously it crushed you, but
Yeah.
it caught me.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, okay. Because then you start, like, obviously you grieve for you, but then you put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah.
Because it's
Like how
similar
do you-
ages, the whole 9. I was like, whoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very tough.
And like and
It
people,
was wild.
Like
It
people
was
like,
super wild.
and you guys know a little bit, like nobody knows but us, like what the years leading up to that were. And it was just like, we talked about timing earlier on in the conversation, like not believing in like coincidences, and I don't, because like Like
Right.
we were going through hell. And it's weird because like if we weren't going through hell 2.5 years ago, like that's what caused us to start going to church again. If we didn't go through extreme adversity, and then it's like, okay, if we weren't going through church, how would we have or if we weren't going to church on a regular basis, how would we have navigated the loss of 2 kids? Or I shouldn't say navigated like past tense. So we're still navigating it. It's,
absolutely.
you know,
Forever.
but it's just
It's like your adversity made you realize that you had a lack of support
yes.
Right.
to an extent.
Yeah.
You know, not that, you know, I'm not going to be one to say your church is the end all be all.
Yeah,
But it is a huge portion of support
Yes.
that
Right.
people can look to gain, because it's a community. It's a community
Yeah.
within a community.
Yep.
Yep.
And, you know, once you find something that works for you,
Yeah.
that's the idea. It's
Yeah.
a supportive
Right.
piece that, you know, because it could be, you know, the person in the front row that's 80 years old that has been doing this for years and years and years. It could be the new mother behind you,
Right.
whatever the case. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You have everything in between,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that are there to support each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's like
Yeah.
your stepping stones, you know,
Right.
kind of work
Yeah.
through. And it's like,
It's
I
just
don't know.
it's so weird because it's like it's all like, and a lot of times that what I would do is I'd put myself in other people's position, observing us almost like what's it like being that person that went through that, and like, dude, even whether it's going to work or going to sporting events, or you're that person or you're that couple, like people have no idea. And like there's a lot of people, dude, I've had some of my best, closest friends of my entire life that just vanished out of my life of all times. And like, that has been one of the hardest pills to swallow for me, is like, of all times for you to just
Drop.
vanish. Yeah.
and is it, have you had any opportunity to talk to any of these people and ask
A
them
little
why?
bit. Yeah. And I think with how we've handled ourselves being like, and this is me just assuming, like I said something shortly after a quote that I heard I heard this months before the accident was by Admiral McRaven, was, in order to change the world, you must be your very best in your darkest moments. And that resonated with me way before the accident. And then, you know, that was something obviously after the accident, like I thought about that. I'm like, I get it. You know, you're going to make more of an impact by what you're going through. And like Terry Tucker said, I always go back to Terry Tucker. We literally, it's weird them bringing him up right now. We got a book in the mail today, and he wrote a letter inside the book to us. Terry Tucker, he was a hostage negotiator in the Cincinnati Police Department, and he was terminal diagnosed with cancer 10 years ago, and he's devoted his entire life to just being inspirational, and he's very, you know, he's a Christian, and just he said a quote, and when we talked to him, that he's like, you have no idea. Keep in mind, he said this before we went through the accident. This is in February of last year. He said, you have no idea how many people are watching how you handle your adversity. And like something about that way back then resonated with me and echoed through my head. And I hope, because adversity can show up in so many different forms,
Right.
stuff that you've talked about
Yep.
publicly. And you have no idea how many people have loss ever, you know, and how many.
Yeah, but how many people are watching you and reading everything you're posting, and it's affecting them in such a good, positive way where you're helping them move on with their lives. And I don't want to say just like moving on, but like coping with everything
Helping them
daily.
navigate life.
And you don't know it because they're not writing to you and telling you. Like, it's so many people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many kids after July 17th of 2025, how many parents hugged their kids or tucked them in? I've always been pretty good about tucking my kids in. And I had an uncle of mine that said to me, he's like, he said this probably 2-3 years ago. And he's like, he said something, he's like, there's nothing more important than the conversation you have with your children before they go to sleep. And, you know, and it hit me a lot. And I tucked in my kids, I would say 80% of the time. The other 20% was too lazy to get out of bed, or I had something more important to do. And it's like, what would I give right now to go back and tuck in my son? And like I think about that all the time, and I think about those times I didn't play Gaga ball with my son all the time, and I was pretty. I've always like there's not much. You didn't know me that well in the high school and stuff. Like throughout school, like I've always been a pretty insecure person. I've never been proud of myself for very much, but I was a good dad. Like I love.
You are a good dad. Not I was.
Yeah.
You are a good dad.
I love my kids because that love's still there whether they're here or not physically. And it's like, oh man, it still was never enough. Like there's never enough. And I had this conversation with a guy from church literally today, right before we came here. I'm like, I look at photos of myself navigating life over the past 18 years. I look at photos when the kids were young or when we were on family trips when it was our whole family, and I'm like, every time I get angry, I'm like, I just look at myself. I'm like, look at me. I'm just there. Like, I'm present, and I would say more appreciative than most people, but it's never enough. And like,
you can't soak it in.
But you can't. It's human nature, and like that's how I think we're all flawed.
Yeah.
Like. I take advantage of her. I talk about it. I tell her that probably at least once a week. Like I just, it's, dude. Like, my mom argues with me this, and she's like, "Oh, you don't take things for granted. You're very appreciative." I'm like, "No, I do." Like, if this was the last day on earth with for any one of us, I imagine you're gonna look at the person you're with a little differently. You're gonna be a little bit more appreciative. Therefore, you take them for granted.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
We live in a fallen world. We're all like that.
Sucks though. And but that's where I think having conversations like this gives people opportunity to be a little bit more appreciative, a little bit more grateful,
Yeah, but that's like the first step is you saying I should be more grateful or not take things for granted. Like most people just go through life in a bubble that don't really even think of that kind of stuff.
They're all concerned about themselves.
Right.
Yeah. Or they have little inconveniences in their life, which
Right.
they have inconveniences that like I would. Hey, listen, I listen to.
Yeah,
Right.
I use this as an example, and there's one of my good friends, and one of his inconveniences, which is a real inconvenience. I'm sure you guys have dealt with this, where it's like, like my kid keeps coming, it wants to sleep with us in the middle of the night. It's driving me nuts. And like, how ironic is that?
And you're like,
2 kids.
Yeah, but how ironic is like one of his biggest
Yeah.
inconveniences is literally something I would literally give everything, every financial valuable thing I have, I would trade to have that back. Like,
Absolutely.
what the hell?
Right.
Like, isn't that weird? Like,
because it is honestly, and it's such a sliver of your life, and it's gone. Because they move on and they have their own life, and we feel like it's right now, and we feel like it's forever. Well, it is right now, like for some of us, but we feel like it's forever.
yeah.
yeah.
But it's like I miss my girls little so much. Like it almost makes me want to cry because I just miss them little.
Yeah.
And just like I try to tell people like soak it in, and they're like, I know, but I'm like, no,
and
really.
How many people said that to us?
Right.
Yeah.
When you're at that age and you're like,
Yes.
I am not
Right.
gonna miss changing crappy diapers.
I know.
I am not gonna miss, waking up on every
I
other
know.
hour to
Yeah.
feed a child
Yeah.
and to do all the things
Yeah.
that were stressful,
Right.
Yeah.
especially if you were young. It's like
Yeah.
super stressful.
Yeah.
And
But
you're not gonna miss it, but you're gonna miss it.
You don't have to miss the stressful like parts of all of that. It's like,
Right.
oh, you're gonna miss the messes in your house when your kids move out. Like you can miss your kids, but you don't have to like miss
Right.
the messes.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
You can separate that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no,
Oh, that's what makes it, unique though.
Right.
Having the
Yeah.
worst parts is kind of makes the good parts good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do say, like, I've heard this about, it was specifically with the military, was that when you go through things with other people, when you go through adversity with other people, it really strengthens your bond.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah.
I mean, that's predominantly why you have, like, in the Marine Corps, Camp Lejeune. Like, it's a
yeah.
pretty tough scenario. Not that
Right,
any
right.
other aspects are, but,
Yeah.
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 it's just that the bonding. Team
Yeah.
bonding, right?
Absolutely.
It's like in football.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lovely Coach P.
Good old Coach P.
Yeah.
Oh,
Coach P.
man.
Yeah, it's tough. I find people a lot that I will say they're maybe dismissive or just, I'll just come out and say ungrateful for, the support that they have. And there's days where I'm like, I would kill for that problem right now. Right. We call it issue envy at work.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm like, I totally have issue envy right now. Like, I would swap you in a minute. Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like my mom was so good about, just because something is qualified as bad, and like not appreciated or whatever, doesn't mean something good can't come from it.
Right.
I mean, she was always so good about that. And like my stepdad was so good about making us see like the lights at the farm. Like, no, we didn't want things to break all the time, but honestly, that's what made my brother a wonderful mechanic and what he does now. Like, our problems, literally, he was literally solving problems at the age of like 10. And that's what he does now. And he has his own business and he does all of these things. And like, he's just like super independent. And sometimes I feel bad because I feel like I forget that he had a mom less than I did. Yeah. So, he was, how old was he? If I was 20 or 30, he was like just early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, he was 23.
Yeah, he was like 23. But like, I mean, he didn't really have an active mom from the time she was diagnosed at 16. Right. So can you imagine being a 16-year-old boy? Like, hey, don't show any emotions about this, but like, you're not really going to have your mom much, And like, I remember a lot going to take care of her and like make sure like their things were taken care of, but like kind of forgetting because he was kind of independent. And so now I think that we both have a different view on life in general. Right. As far as that stuff goes, like he knows, don't work your life away, but also you have to work hard enough to like have value and like be able to support yourself. So, but she was crazy. She wasn't really crazy. She was crazy. Yeah, she was crazy. Yeah, right. I mean, she put Brendan in his place a few times. She had some come to Jesus meetings.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep, but the thing is, like, she would just like, we were like a mirror of each other. So I cleaned how she cleaned. So if one of us, like, it didn't matter who was doing it. It got done and nobody had to redo it or anything. So she said, I had to coach your husband today. I hope you don't mind. And I was like, did you really have to coach him? Like, he knows how to do the laundry, Mom. She's like, but he doesn't fold the clothes like we fold the clothes, Caitlyn. And I was like,
I love it.
If you ask my aunts, they will be like, it's the Lalonde curse, they call it. We all are like super narky about stuff like that.
I'm good with a hanger.
Like, Brenda's like, if it needs to be ironed, it doesn't go here.
No.
If it can't be hung up, we don't
we
want
own
it.
an iron, but not an ironing board.
Yeah. He's got a laundry fairy.
Yeah, it's weird. Like my laundry just
weird.
like jumps
Where
into
did you
my
find the laundry fairy?
I don't know.
Can I find one of those?
Gotta have a few less children around.
Yeah. I know.
Or children that actually like to do laundry, which nobody does, or are forced to.
They're just
At least
like,
one, maybe?
they're wild, but
That's all.
They
All relative.
They try, like, I just tell them all the time, like, it's strange to me that they have grown up with that version of life. You know what I'm saying? That, like, you really don't know when time's going to end. Right. And that's really the only thing that I could tell people. I must tell at least 100 kids every day that. And they have no idea what I'm saying. I'm probably the crazy person at school that's like, she's telling me to be grateful for this. I'm like, well, you should be. But, at least they think about it. Obviously, kids complain about their parents a lot.
Yeah.
And vice versa. And it's like, how can we just even out the playing field a little bit and like make it less bumpy, I guess. But I don't think you can, because I feel like there's reasons that we have bumps and there's reasons for all of it. Yeah. And so I'm not sure that like we would want an easy life. And I try to tell the kids that all the time.
Yeah.
Like you kind of need to like be behind the 8 ball a few times to figure out how to be resourceful.
Yeah. I heard this quote from Alex Hermazi. He said, he's like, if you were to create a video game character and you were like a god and you wanted to create the strongest character, he's like, would you give that character an easy life or a hard life to make them strong? And it's like, it puts it into perspective a little bit. Like, having a difficult life is incredibly valuable for your mindset. But
Well, yeah, I mean, going through the hard parts in a video game, you have to like level up and get armor, and then better armor, then better armor.
Yeah.
It gets harder and harder and harder.
Right, yeah. Get stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
You're not all of a sudden strong.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you gotta earn it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I tell new moms that all the time, like, you can run behind your kids all you want when they're learning how to walk, but if you always put them back on their feet, they're never going to learn how to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like I see a lot of parents that have a hard time not being needed. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, because that role is there for so long that you're like, oh gosh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think we're needed in a different way. Mm-hmm. And like, no, the kids aren't all waking us up at 2:00 in the morning sometimes.
Puppies now.
Yeah, the dogs now. Yeah.
I'm giving you the puppy back was what we got at 2:00 this morning.
I was going to say, you should have left the dogs out, by the way.
Oh, no.
No?
And, but, that we're going to be like the struggles are different. Like it's a lot easier to be able to scoop them up when they've fallen and give them a hug and like, you're the be all end all when they're little, and then they go through relationship issues, whether it's friends or with us, and you're like, oh gosh, this is different. I can't just like,
I can't just fix it.
Yeah, I can't just give you a hug and make it better.
That's actually really hard.
Yeah. And you're like, my mom was like, she never wanted us to like hurt or like be upset or anything. And my stepdad was always, so you have to let them feel that.
Yeah.
And then it's okay, because if you don't, then he's like, let's face it. And this was long before she got diagnosed. You're not always going to be able to be around, he would tell her. Yeah. And she was like, well, come on. I want them all to be here all the time. And he's like, but you're not going to. So you need to be able to like give them the tools, right?
Yeah.
You can always sit beside them and help them use those tools, but you can't always use the tools and fix it. And so he's still that way. Still now. He's like, he gives us our rope and we always come and we're like, now we need your help. And he's like, okay. Aww. But, I think it's just hard. It's even harder with social media, and, it's easier to judge people on their pictures and postings and all of the things. And you guys probably remember Facebook when it was just college kids. You remember that?
That was when I was on MySpace.
I don't know. I know. I had MySpace, and then I joined. My sister was like, you got to get on Facebook. And it was like back in 2009 or so. I'm like, that's stupid.
Yeah, that's dumb.
No.
I remember when it was just in college, like, we thought we were invincible because you had to have a .edu address to get an account.
That's why I didn't have one.
Lo and behold, guess what? Teachers and coaches also have .edu accounts, so they can have Facebook. And we were like, we thought we were invincible. We were like, this is
now
never.
Our teacher's on here too.
Right.
Weird.
And then we got called out at a practice one time, and I was like, oh, she's probably gonna watch. Emily, you know it was you. She is so funny. We're still friends now. She keeps in contact, and she is. Yeah, I will never ever forget that. She was like, but that was my first lesson in social media. Like, you're not ever as like
Fits
closed
out there.
as you.
Right.
You're not. It's not as secure as you think it is. And like, I mean, anybody can find anything with Google.
Right.
Oh, nowadays,
So-
especially.
It's kind of funny talking about MySpace. Like, you had was it the 5 top like best friends, and if you weren't in that already started people being like, I'm not in that.
Yeah,
So it
Why
makes
not?
you feel bad,
Right.
right?
Why aren't we friends?
It's like, what the heck? I'm not your top 5. Like,
Trust that relationship
I know.
more.
I guess we're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
I
No, but
can't.
like
Stupid.
kids need to, children need to understand like those stepping stones.
Mm-hmm.
On having a friend who's being mean to you for the day or whatever the case. Like they have to deal with that all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
As you guys were hitting.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's a lot, and
and
be
realistically,
able to
it's
navigate
tough
it.
to stand back
Yep.
and not try to console your child
Yeah.
when there's
Right.
something that's bothering them.
Yeah.
Yep.
You like want to fix it.
Like you want to make you a
Yeah.
hardened criminal. Like take your feelings and just make them as hard as steel, but at the same
I
time, like,
know.
no, I don't want you to hurt.
Yeah.
And it's like,
That's such a hard thing.
how do
yeah.
you work through that?
Yeah.
It's like everything you learned in your entire life, all the bad stuff that like had you grow and learn. You wish you could just like give it to your kids, but
Yeah.
you know that they have to go through all
Yes.
their shit in
Experience
their
it
life
And
to actually learn it. Because we're always like, oh, from my past experiences, or I've gone through this, and you try to give them advice, but usually 9 times out of 10, the kids are gonna be like, okay, whatever.
yeah,
Right.
And they have to actually go through it themselves to really actually learn.
Yeah.
And,
soak
then you
in.
factor in, boy versus girl, and then it's
Right.
like a
So
whole
many
different
different
ball of
things.
wax.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm upset because this one looked at me wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
And
always
it was
don't
a-
even
Whoa.
notice those things.
It was a whole
Whoa.
different world when we were kids too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, we played outside.
Our kids,
All the time.
do you know? We were just talking about this. Our kids are living in a world where we got to experience. If we saw a video of something happening, we knew it was real.
Yeah,
Right.
now you don't.
Now-
you have
Yeah.
no idea.
That's gone.
True.
You know, like it's like, oh, is that AI? And
You got to really pick on it to see.
And that's right now. Give it another
Yeah.
year.
I will
There's-
say that maybe it's just because of the amount of watching that goes on, but it seems like our 2 older boys are significantly better at tune at picking out AI versus me.
give it another year or two.
Like, no, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty decent at it. You
Yeah.
can kind of see the different things, but they're like, definitely, oh no, that's AI, that's real.
Yeah.
This is why, this person has 2
Interesting.
hands. If you kicked here, and there it is. But
Right.
to your point, yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean-
that's advancing so quick.
It's
Yeah.
it's just started. I mean, it's been around for. I mean, realistically, like to the public, like to 3-4 years, where it's been kind of prevalent, and like that's terrifying. Yeah. And because I work,
Yeah.
being in cybersecurity, we work a lot with AI. But
Yeah.
It's scary.
Scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's wild.
what are we at right now? So we shouldn't. They're not going to die. Can't see that.
You got 3 bars.
70, no.
I can't see anything. My eyesight
Holy
is
crap.
terrible.
I can't see from here.
Um,
It's like,
Yeah.
I didn't know what, and because I thought to myself immediately it'd be so valuable. Like I didn't know what you were willing to talk about. Like you posted something online about like relationship issues and resolving them. And I said something to you on Facebook, Caitlyn, like how many people like quit when there was so much more potential to continue moving forward together.
Yeah.
Like, and I think everybody fights. Everybody
Yeah.
goes through situations or
Mm-hmm.
goes through not even just fights. Everybody goes through periods of difficulty, and like,
There's phases
I
of a
think-
relationship.
dude,
Yes.
right?
Like,
absolutely.
you have your
Yep.
honeymoon, and then you have
Yeah.
kind of your work it through stage, and then you have like you're gonna make it or break it,
yeah.
Right.
and you've not testing anything, but like you have to work through each one
Yeah.
as they come,
Right.
Yeah.
and figure out what's what.
I think that, well, I don't know, for me, like, there was 4 things that really made me hone in on this has to be different. 1 was the accident. 2 was a body coding session that I had right after that. Was it before? Maybe it could have been the same day. I think I was off that day.
No, because that was the day. So indirectly,
You're right, I was working.
To kind of go back to your accident.
Yeah.
Literally within minutes, Caitlyn was involved in an accident.
Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah, and
like
I
that.
never responded
And-
to that thing
And
that you
it was
sent
it was a
us.
very
It's okay.
similar scenario. It wasn't as high of a speed per se, but
It literally,
Yeah.
so
there was a box truck and a vehicle involved with her and our 2 youngest children.
And so
And I was like,
he was the first person I called. But so this is what happened. I was talking to Nolan, and it was right in Vernon, and I was turning left, and I stopped and looked, but the sun was coming right at me, and there's buildings right there and shadows. And he asked me some silly question, and I like kind of started laughing and like just kind of went. And then all of a sudden there was this box truck right there, and like I was like, oh my gosh, what happened, right? And the kids were like, what was that? Oh my gosh. And like we took care of it and whatever, and we came home, and I was like, that could have been so much worse. Actually, it was the trooper that was like milliseconds, and that box truck would have been like in your door. And I was like, okay. So I'm listening, right? Like I'm listening to like what's going on. Mom, what are you trying to say here, right? Like we're in the middle of a divorce. Like we're still living in the same house, but not long before that we had we had an appointment with lawyers, all the things. Like I'm like, okay, Mom, what are you trying to say? And then I had a body coding session that really like dug deep into some things, and I was like, okay, still listening, right? And then Colton and Tyler, so this all happened in 5 days. Colton and Tyler got in an accident on an ATV and a dirt bike. And they were not like being malicious. It literally was an accident. And he was right there, the first one on the scene for that. And I was like, we got to do something different. Like, because I was just thinking like.
and then Lizzie broke her arm.
Oh, and then Lizzie broke her arm like
Oh my
3
gosh.
days after that.
Jeez.
And we were both there for that.
So the kid's accident was July 17th.
The Thursday. Yeah.
And
Yes.
Lizzie broke her arm on my birthday, which is
On
August 2nd.
August 2nd.
Okay.
So we
So
were
we
all
were a 2-week
jam-packed.
period, and
Yeah.
literally everybody in our family, except for me, was involved in some sort of accident,
Traumatic something.
Yeah.
experience,
Yeah.
whatever. It was like
Like something's like hello,
Yeah.
grabbing your attention.
Right, like,
What?
crazy
Right.
period of
Happening.
time. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to.
No,
You're fine.
You're fine.
Trust me, everybody's got their own things,
Yeah.
but like
so, yeah.
for us, that was nuts.
And so I was like, we just gotta, figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's gotta be different. Like, because that was the biggest thing. I wasn't it's not even that like we were disagreeing or arguing. Like it wasn't like a cliche like you see in the movies type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't. And so I just was like, all right, somebody's saying that like we need to keep this together. Like keep the kids in the forefront of your mind and move forward. And I remember driving home and just being like, I don't know what just happened. And so that's kind of how we started. It's not been like, I remember asking him, I was like, what do you think about not doing it that way? And like trying to figure this out. I don't even remember what I said. It was over a cup of coffee. We both got up early. I was like, you want to have coffee? That was the first thing. Like we lived in the same house.
A lot of
but
random conversations.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like that. Like, this is how Caitlyn is, and she'll just come out and be like, what do you think about this? And sometimes it's like, what?
Wait, what?
Like, what? And then other times it's like, okay, you can talk about it and get through it. But just a lot of very open, and like that's the biggest thing is being open with somebody.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
she is very open. I'm not, as you can all tell by this, I don't talk a lot. I mean, I do, but not,
Yeah.
I don't get involved in like
I've just never been.
getting more vulnerable and getting more open and being willing to talk, and the fear of judgment is helpful.
Yeah.
It's unlocking, it's freedom, it's refreshing to be able to talk about stuff.
And to
Right.
have people that can receive it.
Yeah.
But being in
That's
a
the
safe
hardest part.
place, like, and I don't mean like, oh, do I feel safe? It's like safe where you can speak your mind and you're not going to be attacked.
Right. And like
That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it just was like, he was like, yeah, like, let's go. And I was like, I remember feeling like relieved because, I mean, obviously, as you know, you're like, okay, so like this is ending, but this is going to be beginning. But oh crap, everything's going to be on my shoulders. Like, and that's what we've always had was like, we've had an incredible like ability to work with each other. Like we both like to be outside and working, and you know, like I don't mind stacking wood and he doesn't mind doing the horse thing. And although it's like, it's like 175 degrees in the barn and the hay comes in and we're like, well, all right.
Yeah.
And we might question our thoughts then, but
why are we doing this?
you know, like,
I'm going to call you next time you need a good workout.
Dude.
yeah.
I used to do hay at my friend's
before you said that, I was
back in
thinking
high
about
school.
Bradley.
Yeah.
Bradley could use some hay.
Yes, for sure. And like that just, it gives the kids, they will complain and they will get on each other's case and they do it. But you know what? At the end of the day, they could see the progress.
Yeah.
And
It's so important.
When
Just-
we're
So
done,
important.
they're all happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just to be done. It's because like, oh, well, we did hay.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they go to school and like, you know, there was a time frame where all the kids have like prototypical cowboy boots type of thing or cowgirl boots. And, you know, they have the hats and stuff. And it was like a little switch after hay season, you know, come through and they going in with a little bit of this, a little bit of that, got my square toes on. Like, I did hay this weekend, you know? Like, what'd you do? You play video games? I did hay.
Yeah.
All
You know,
day.
I remember that growing up.
It's something to be proud of if
Yes.
you can do it.
If you
Right.
can do it.
Absolutely.
Work is something to be proud of. A lot of kids don't know what that is.
Yep.
No, and that's the thing, like, but it's something we can all do as a family, I guess. And that was my biggest thing. I was like, I mean, I think you can attest to it, like, you can't replace mom and you can't replace dad, you know? So, like, even if you're in one house and, you know, you do all the things that, like, mom or dad does, like, Brendan's really good at fixing all the things. And I knew going into a divorce, like, oh no, I can't fix these things. Like, I don't know how to do this. And he's probably like, I don't want to have to coordinate the ins and the outs of having, you know? And it was just kind of like, well, this is kind of dumb. I do think that it needed to like split the way that it did so we could actually both see like, this is what life is going to be like.
Right.
And so we had something to kind of like push us back
Like a
together,
reality
I guess.
check almost.
Absolutely. And so, and I wish we videotaped the kids when we were like, all right, so remember all of that? Because we were not like terribly open about it, but like they knew enough to be dangerous, you know?
They're very, like, they are aware.
And we didn't, like I said, I'm always one to like prepare kids for what's coming up. So like, I'm going to tell the 7-year-old differently than I told the 15-year-old, but at the same time, you know? So they were both like, okay, this is cool. And then we had an accident in front of the barn. A box truck ran into the front of the barn. Well, it actually ran into the guardrail across the street, went airborne, hit the lawn.
Oh my gosh.
Hit my horse trailer that we just bought 6 days before.
Of course.
And then smashed that into the barn.
Wow.
And that was in September. And we had decided in like August that we were like, yeah, this is gonna stay together. So I was like, okay, can we stop? Like,
We can stop.
we're
I'm done
listening.
right now.
We're
Yeah,
listening.
yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
what else do you want?
Yep.
And then, that's kind of how the farm store came about, because we were out there with a contractor, and I was like, I would always love to have a store out here. And he's like, why don't you?
Cool.
And I was like, okay, well, you said it. If you're gonna build it,
we go.
I'll fill it. So Brendan was like, wait, what? But it was okay. I honestly, if that accident didn't happen, none of it. I've always wanted the part for like horses and the community, and I still am looking at like how that's gonna look. Like, I really don't want it. I want it available to everybody, because everybody can use it.
Or things like that. Like not that we're free
They're
labor
just
type
healing.
of thing, but having the ability to interact with animals, having the ability to do some physical labor,
Yeah.
which I think, not to get too far into it, but I think our society is lacking that.
Oh my gosh.
You can get far into it.
Kids are lacking that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the
They are.
physical input
Yep.
of just doing stuff
Yep.
is absent from
Yep.
Yeah.
our current generation.
How many people are like, I don't like sweating. Like we're meant to sweat. Like,
Like, it's
that's kind
okay.
of important.
Yeah, our brain works better when it has physical input. Right now, it's just got digital input.
Yeah.
We need physical.
Yep.
Right.
Need physical.
You know the movie Wall-E when they're all fat on the ship? That's all I ever picture.
Right.
Like,
That's
that's us
story.
if something doesn't change.
Like, listen, I'm not running 7 miles. 'Cause this guy does not run, not even for cake. But doing things is just you just feel better about
you
yourself.
do.
End of the day, you feel better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good, bad, indifferent doesn't matter.
Something I've said to her, I've said this for years, and because I've always been a stupid open book when it came to relationships and past relationships, even if I'm talking to her. And I said something that it was weird to say to her. I think the first time I said it, but was like when it comes to like my first marriage or whatever. I always said like we made the mistake. Whereas yes, I don't think you should ever stay with somebody because of children being involved. However, you can use, like, it's important to take into consideration like what you have.
Right.
And I think like one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made, years ago was like, I was with her. We were each other's like first high school sweethearts and stuff. When things happened and we separated, we put very little effort into trying to make things work. And with having 3 kids, that was one thing I said. I've always, like, even now I'll say, it was for who I am as a person, for who she was as a person. Like, we should have put more effort into trying to see if things could still work, especially given the fact that we had 3 kids. Again, re-emphasizing you should never stay with somebody just because of kids, but I think having kids and having that family dynamic, it's so important, because like going through a separation is it's so hard on kids. And I always heard like the target age was 7. I heard the target age that's most impacted by a divorce, it was that. And I remember my 7-year-old at the time, she took it the hardest, and it was definitely hardest on my daughter. And but
I would say that for Nolan too.
Yeah.
Like, he was gonna be 7.
Yeah.
And it took him a while. Like, we didn't know if it was just like him because he's the baby, and like the older kids, they're siblings, and they kind of razz him up. But I've noticed a big difference, and I think it's just they need like that extra stability, because they're not a big kid yet, but they're not a baby, so they kind of like fall in between, and they're just like, oh, everybody will like the 6-7 joke.
I can't.
2025.
I know, they tell me that all the time.
It's
Oh, it's so 2025. And he but he's definitely grown. I see it a lot just in general. Like, I mean, my parents split up when I was a baby, so I didn't ever know them together.
Really?
It's kind of the same with me. I was like 3 or 4, I think, so I don't really remember.
And truthfully, I think my
anything.
parents stayed together because of me, and it shows.
Yeah.
And like, not that I pray to God they never watch this, but and I don't think that'll ever happen. But like, they should have been gone. They should have never been at that point. Like, they were just toxic with each other. Like, that's just how it was.
Yeah.
And like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of, you have 2 use case scenarios with those types of discussions. Like,
and it's I just always say, like, and I try to tell the kids this all the time, like, it's the biggest investment you can make is in your relationship with people. It doesn't matter what you bring to the table in any other fashion. It's how you interact with people and how they feel when they interact with you.
Yeah.
And
that's life.
yeah.
Like,
There's nothing more important than the way you make other people feel. And
Yeah.
That's,
And
well, yeah. I mean, but they have to also make you feel good too.
yes.
Yeah.
To an extent,
Reciprocate.
gotta be
Right.
reciprocation there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like
One hand
just
gotta
to
watch the other.
teach them like what a healthy relationship looks like, and
Right.
a healthy relationship does not always look perfect. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even know, like, I don't know how to illustrate it for kids, because I feel like it's different, or just people in general, it's different depending on who you are and where you came from. Like, everybody comes to the table with different things.
Yep.
My mom always said, everybody's got a bag and you never know what's inside of it.
That is true.
And I was like, she goes, sometimes people bring a real big bag and there's nothing inside of it. And I was like,
Yeah, that's true too.
oh. And she's like, but there's people that can bring a wallet and it could be full with $100 bills. And I was like, all right. So she, she always had these little
Wise.
sayings that would like pop into my head. And I would be like, all right, Mom, I didn't appreciate it as much then, but she really did great things for, and she was a relationship person. Like, I will say that that's what she left behind, and that was her goal.
What was the biggest change you think that, like, what did you find to be the most beneficial change of, like, when you decided to work things out and stuff, like, that helped you guys navigate having a relationship together? Like, what was like the, I don't know.
What was it for you?
Um,
I'll let you go first because that one's tough.
we had, so I mean, it was a long descent
Yeah.
for us. I felt like it was more than most people.
Yeah.
It wasn't like someone just did something and that was the cause of it. It was a very slow descent, but it was took a long time to get to that point.
Yeah.
I felt that way anyway. But
Yeah, no, I will totally
you know,
agree.
and then it kind of hit there and just kind of running through, and then there was a lot of uncertainty. Like, you can when you're in a relationship with somebody, if you are at all in tune with it, you can feel
Yeah.
some of the bumps that are coming, and you're like, okay, well, this is a little bit more involved, or maybe whatever the case might be. You can feel, you can sense these things. You should be able to, in my opinion, if you're at all within the relationship.
Yeah.
Whether or not you address them is your own prerogative, which I generally just chose to keep trying to ride the wave, which wasn't good. But so for me, it was, the biggest thing was like the stability that kind of came from, like, okay, someone has this, in this case, my wife had sort of recommitted back to me, but recommitted back to trying to make this work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As opposed to us seeking alternative arrangements.
Yeah.
And it's like having that commitment to kind of start building a foundation back on, because our foundation, like, we were obviously, maybe we were young, but we weren't like teenagers.
Yeah.
We had a decent foundation, but it wasn't a long-term dating type of thing. And then we're kind of together and moved in together and just kind of rode the wave.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a ton of dating beforehand. We knew each other, but we really didn't know each other,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And
Yeah,
then now you have a
definitely.
family and you're working through it. And so we kind of had to, I think, get to the bottom.
Yeah.
You had to sort of rebuild the foundation, but we had to have a foundation to go from.
Yeah.
And so that started, okay, so here's the foundation. We have an amazing family. We have a good network of friends.
Yeah.
We already have our house and stuff. And so, like, okay, here it is. Now let's build the thing that we're lacking on, which is the rest of it. We've got to have the relationship part.
Yeah.
I mean,
It really, yeah. I mean, I felt for the longest time I was just kind of trying to literally ride the wave because I didn't know what way was up most of the time. I was in I felt like I was a robot after my dad passed away. Like, I didn't really know, like, I almost had to find my role back in my family because I was out of it for so long. I literally would come home and go to sleep and wake up and prepare things for kids in the morning. But I never really, for almost a year, I didn't really care for them, after school, and do dinners and baths and all of those things. So I was prepared to just do that. And then it was just, I finally was like, all right, this whole piece of open and it's coming out, and we have to work through it. We can't, I think for the longest time, I think all couples do, you try to put Band-Aids over bullet holes sometimes, and that doesn't work. And just being real with that, and if something's not working, it's literally not working, and it has to be fixed, and you have to listen, and it's not necessarily, I'm not coming at you personally, I'm saying that this system in our family is not working, so we need to fix it. And I just think that really just growing up and realizing that just because somebody is upset doesn't mean they're upset with something you did.
right.
Yep.
And even if you can't console them, it doesn't mean that you didn't, it doesn't mean you did it. It just means that they're upset. And I don't necessarily think that I understood my feelings of grief. And that it was really, I remember being really vocal, and that's why I would write because I remember being vocal to, you know, like you talked about your core support. And I had a couple that stayed, and then for a long time, and then it just kind of dwindled off. And then a lot of them just went away, and I was like, how the heck am I supposed to deal with all of this? And like, a girl's got feelings and she needs to get out. And like, Brendan was like, dude, are you mad at me? Like, are you yelling at me? Or are you just like just talking loud just to emphasize that, like, you're emphasizing how important this is to you. And so I think it was just a lot of building, like, understanding each other's character more than just your place in the family.
Yeah.
And understanding that, like, pieces move.
Yeah.
And being able to roll with that.
And from my perspective too, regarding that, like, as a child, I was met with a lot of anger from my parents. And like, there would be, you know, my mom was fantastic 75% of the time, but then she would, you know, they would go out and have drinks as kids. I mean, I don't know how your parents were at the time, but like, it was much more socially acceptable to go drinking wherever, and, you know, it was less more lenient, that type of thing. Right. But then she would become angry at whatever was bothering her and just unload on me as a kid or my dad or whatever. And like, that's what I was met with as a kid. And so I was kind of in this idea that I was taught to ignore it. And so when she was expressing herself, I wouldn't ignore it, but I would, like, okay, next day it'd be gone.
Put a raincoat on.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It would just, like, roll off.
Exactly. I was really good at letting stuff roll off my back. 100% could let it roll off my back and not let it bother me the next day, because that's what I was trained to do as a kid. And then, like, realizing, like, I really can't ignore this because this is real concerns that I have to address as my position, not only as her spouse, but, like, because of someone I care about.
Yeah.
I have to try to address that. And so unpacking.
Are we dying?
Uh-oh, got one dying. Yeah.
Weather today.
Snowing.
We're good.
Okay.
We're good.
All right.
It's so funny. Good. Okay.
So yeah, as like supporting your spouse, I mean, weathering those storms and kind of walking through it, like, you have to sit there with them, not just let it rain off my back, which is what I was doing. And so the initial part of our, like, discussion of going down this road of separation, I was taking everything like it was a shot to me, regardless of what it was. And so I would just fire back. And so it didn't matter what she was trying to talk to me about. I was literally taking it and firing a mortar back at her. It didn't matter. It's her fault, whatever, because I was thinking that I was like this doing everything I could to be a good dad, a good husband, the whole nine. But realistically, it was like how I was kind of taught to react, and now it wasn't working anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and like, okay, so once I got through all that and, like, let it settle, I started, why am I reacting this way?
Yeah.
Why is this not working? Why is all this stuff the way that it is? And which led me to a host of TED Talks, thank you technology. But then, you know, talking to her and, like, going to therapy.
Yeah.
You know, and as much as it's like, you talk about judgment, like, you're going to be judged for going to therapy, but it's helpful to talk to somebody who's not involved.
Right.
Yeah.
And is not a friend, because friends tend to choose sides.
Yep.
They don't know your situation.
Or it's an
so,
echo chamber, so they tell you what you want to hear anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And not that a therapist is going to fix your problems, but you get them out, and they will ask questions that may or may not pertain to it, but, like, or why, and you have the ability to answer those questions in a scenario, again, where you're not being judged.
Right, and it might help you think differently about things.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. You just talk through it with someone who's not
She's my favorite person.
involved.
She is.
You know, and it doesn't matter. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect you. It makes, you know, and you may resonate with that person, and you may want to, you know, talk to them more, and it may help you, and it may just help you in that moment, and then you can, you know, cut back on it, whatever, it doesn't matter. And it was super helpful. It still is. I mean, it's still something I try to do on a regular basis if I can, because it's just helpful to talk to somebody about life. It doesn't have to be about your relationship. It can be about how your kids, your job, whatever, how all this stuff's doing with you, and just someone who's not involved in your life.
Yep.
Yeah.
and it's gone.
They give you a non-biased response to
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And it's structured to the point where, like, okay, I have an hour to talk about whatever I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk out of there and I'm, you're done. You're free and clear. You wipe the slate and you're okay, good to go. Or you may have something you want to work on and you can try to do better at something that you may be just whatever. But looking internally, because, as we've kind of come across, like, if you have a problem with something, it's a you problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my responsibility to control how or how someone reacts to me if I'm being truthful and honest with my feelings or opinions.
Right.
Like, I'm not trying, as long as you're not degrading somebody or being, over the top type of thing. But, like, it's your reaction is your responsibility, just as my reaction is my responsibility.
Yep.
So if I'm reacting differently to something, or I'm not getting, I'm making someone else further upset because of that, and it's someone I care about, and like there's valid concerns, then maybe we got to look at that. It's kind of a double-edged sword there a little bit.
Well, it's like that thing. What is it, like 90%?
Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it.
100%. Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
Viktor Frankl's, I'm going to slaughter this quote, but it's essentially the last of the human freedoms that can't be taken away is how you react, or how you react to any given set of circumstances.
Yeah.
Same thing though. Like, just
I'm amazed that you can pull the quotes out of your brain
Dude,
like
he
that.
I know.
I'm like, who is
that
this?
was.
You read a lot?
I don't, and I have a horrible memory. It's just I've heard that one repeated many, many times. So
I love it.
yeah.
It would
Yeah.
take me like a million times to read that stuff.
I don't.
I
only
like
I'm
hearing
what's the
somebody else say
percentage?
that
90,
because-
10, and he knows exactly what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, and then he just says it.
I struggle with like the Pythagorean theorem. You know what I mean? Like, that's it.
I don't even remember what that is. So there you go.
A squared, B squared, C squared.
Oh yeah.
That's all
Okay.
it is.
Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really knew that?
No, I forgot. But
Okay.
when you
When
said
he
it, I was
said
like, duh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that, like, it just was like, it was an easy, well, it wasn't easy, but it was a spot to be like, it's laid all out on the table now. Like, there's no questions.
Yeah.
And the intent was there. So I don't think that either one of us wanted to not have our children all the time and not, I mean, we lived together through this. So it was like,
Right.
we didn't really like want to, like, we are really good friends and we get along well and everything. So it was like life got in the way of our relationship, and there's a lot to take care of. It's like you have to take care of everything on the bottom, and
Yeah.
most of the time your relationship sits on the top, and when you get to it, you get to it. But like at the same time, it's just the balance of life.
I think a lot of times life just makes you tired from dealing with everything.
Yes.
And then you're like,
Yeah.
okay,
think.
like you do have to try to have a relationship. You have to
Yeah.
try. You have to
Yeah.
try.
Much effort.
But
yeah.
I feel like if you have to force try anything, that is like,
There's a fine line there.
Yeah.
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 And I also strongly believe that you need to take care of you, and you need to take care of you, and together before you can do anything else, because then everything else is kind of maybe not going to fall apart, but like self-love in your relationship. Like, if you guys can't be healthy, how are your kids going to be healthy? Because they're watching you and they're seeing you and they're soaking everything in.
Yeah. Well, and you're a product of your environment. So
Exactly.
if your environment is quote unquote toxic,
Yeah.
because you
Right.
aren't taking care of yourself or
Exactly.
your spouse, and those relationships,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're just
honestly,
creating
yeah.
more of it. I mean,
Right.
and not
Yeah.
that it's the answer to why we have so many issues in our society, but there's a lot of that I think could be.
Yeah.
I don't have those scientific numbers, but I'm just making a guess here.
Yep.
I think too, like, just through the divorce process, I mean, you do kind of have to start separating, and it starts, and for anybody that hasn't been through that process, you literally put numbers on a table, like numbers on a sheet, and then it's split in two, and you get a certain percentage, and you get a certain percentage, and then your kids become numbers also, and it's like you're with mom 50% and dad 50%, and like, how do you just can't like that. I could never wrap my head around that. Like the
That's
other
tough.
stuff I was like but like the whole like 50-50 thing, I was like, this isn't working for me. I was like, and so I actually was like, this is really dumb. Why are we doing this? And he was like, wait a minute, what just happened? And so I think that we just, but through the process, we both became more independent. So now the things that we don't really struggle with some things that we did before, because we're like, it just like morphed into something different. It was like, I feel like we both kind of found strengths that we didn't know that we had, because we thought we were going to have to use them. And so now they're like in the toolkit, but like,
there if you need it, but
not really. Here's the mutual toolkit, so like you can use it if you want it.
Sometimes when you have one foot out the door, you kind of realize too, like what you may have been taking for granted. Because sometimes it's hard to realize, look at what you have until you're on the brink of losing it too. Like,
right.
So
Exactly. So it's just a reality check of like, what's going on, but like it's a conscious effort, and it's not ever going to be rainbows and butterflies, and I will say that forever. Like, I mean, there's people that have been married for like 70 years that are still like, you know what, there was a lot of days that I didn't like him, but I still like loved him enough to stay and like and to be. And I just think like of my grandparents growing up, like there were days where she would be like, I don't even know why. But she always stayed, and she was like, you know what? This is why. Like, she had 17 grandkids. She had 6 beautiful children. Like, and she's like, this is why. This is why I stay. Like, this is what I got paid back by living with Grandpa. And then we all started taking care of Grandpa, so it was fine. But I think the saddest thing I've ever seen was when she passed away, and he was there holding her hand. He was like, I wanted to go first. I'm not ready for you to go. Like, he wasn't. And the man died 6 months later of a broken heart. Yeah. And so even though what might look like a super great loving relationship to you two is different for us, right? And like, so it didn't outwardly always look like they loved and cared about each other, but just their like loyalty and honesty to each other. And they were there for each other all the time. My grandma really did take care of him near the end, but he always was, he was just a grumpy old man sometimes, and it was fine. But
kind of fun being the grumpy old guy.
It is, apparently. But
once in a while.
She just, and like I said, I didn't know my parents, like, so I can't say that I was a product like of a divorce, because I wasn't. Like, I don't remember it. So that I kind of was taking, like, and my stepdad was my dad, my father figure for since I was like 5. So we always kind of had that. And I was realizing, because when you go through the process, the lawyers are like, kids are fine, they're resilient. And I was like, but are they going to be fine? And he's like, they'll get through it. And I said, that looks different for everybody. And like the definition of getting through it and like getting through it well for me was like a drastically different thing. And I could just see like the difference in them to begin with, just by us saying that, even though we were literally still living in the same house. Right. I was like, no, I'm good. Yeah. Thanks. But I mean, it's the fine line. It's the fine line. I think that deep down people know that they have something to keep pushing for. And I don't know. We're both really stubborn. So
that's not a bad thing.
So
it can be a bad thing.
So it kind of worked. It was just like, all right. And then we just kind of came back to it. And there wasn't really just like a one-time thing. It was just kind of, we went on our like intuition about like, I softened to the idea. Yeah. And, after, I just remember driving home and being like, oh my God, he was so nervous when he got there. Like, he saw my car before. Like, I told him, I was on the phone with him. We're fine. Like, the kids are in the car. They're fine. But, like, my car did not look fine. And the look on his face was, like, sheer terror.
Yeah.
And I was like, it, like, really cut like a knife. And I was like, I can't. Like, we can drive each other to work and stuff like that. But so then when he literally, I was upstairs, like, in tears. And then he came up and he was like, I know you're already crying, but he was crying. And I was like, shit, what? And then he told me about Tyler and Natasha. And I was like,
You know, and that's the crazy part. Then you try to think about somebody else's shoes.
Yeah.
And like, dude, imagine like, and I don't mean, when I say this, I don't mean for sympathy, but like coming home from a hospital after you just found out your kid's gone and Natasha's gone, and I get Kylie in the hospital, but that's not even the bad part or the hard part in comparison to, then I got my 12-year-old. Like, screw me, I'm all right. I'm gonna be all right no matter what. Like,
You have to be him. You have
dude,
to be strong for him.
dude.
yeah.
Because he's there and he saw everything.
He shares a room with Tyler. You know, like,
But like we always say, like, our loss is a lot, but he lost his mom, his brother, his sister,
and
3
3 dogs. Like,
all
all
like,
in one.
yeah. And you know, I talked about this with Carpinelli, and we talked, but like, you know, it was crazy. You know, we were driving away from the scene of the accident. I could still see the emergency person at lights and stuff in the rearview mirror. We were on the way to the hospital. We just left the scene. It was like 5 minutes after we found out that they didn't make it. And like Bradley, like I had tears coming out my face, but I was like in shocked, and like I'm like, this is a bad dream, you know. And Bradley, same thing. Like, he had tears coming out his face, but he wasn't really crying. And like, he grabs a hold of my hand. He's holding my hand in my truck, and he's like, Dad, he's like, we're gonna be happy again, I promise.
Aww.
And like, you know, and like, it doesn't shock me just because like the stuff that he says and does. Like, I said to him, I think like 2 nights after, I'm like, dude, I'm like, we have 2 options here. Like, this is gonna make us or break us, and there's no in between. Like, there isn't. And I'm like, and when I say it's gonna make us, I mean like, it's not gonna get worse than this. If we can navigate through this, and especially you. I'm like, you're 12. If you can get through something like this at 12,
Yeah.
life is gonna be easy for you.
Yeah.
And
Got the world
like,
ahead of you.
yeah, and he's a good kid.
He does.
I just, it's still, you know, and then like I say to her some mornings I wake up and like I'll have a dream of like I had a recent dream of like Kylie, and like it was so real, and like when I say it was a dream, at that moment when I was experiencing that dream, it was reality. It was an alternate state of reality,
Right.
and but then you wake up. You're back to reality. It's like you're going through that loss all over again.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I tell people like, you know, like I've never experienced my entire life. I've never had anybody in the hospital like where I'm like praying that they make it type of thing. And like that's, you know, like
yeah.
I can still smell the ICU. You know, I could, you know, holding my daughter's hand and praying. You know, like, and I thought with as bad as the situation was, I'm like, there's no way she's not gonna make it. You know, and,
Right.
and then it's crazy. I remember talking to like the neurosurgeon, or not the neurosurgeon, the neurologist that was the head neurologist, or whatever, when he pulled us into that room to tell us like, you know, the news of like, yeah, like if she ever were to wake up, she's gonna be a vegetable, like essentially. And I'm just like, you know, and like that's when reality kicked. And then when their advice is to pull life support, it's like. That was really hard. Obviously, it's hard. Pulling life support on your kid. Obviously, it's hard. But that was extra hard. When she was 14, we were butting heads. I remember being on her bedroom floor, holding her in my arms, and we would just get on with a wicked bad fight. You know, screaming at her, she's screaming at me, and she's in my arms crying, and I'm crying to her, and I'm like, I'm never giving up on you, no matter what. No matter how bad things get, I'm never giving up on you. So now I almost feel like a part of me like gave up on her by like. You know, have like signing the papers or whatever.
That decision,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, because I think to myself, I'm like, how many people have I heard? How many miracles have we heard where it's like,
you're never going to walk again. And then you have people, we had somebody on our podcast, Ari, like she was told she's never going to walk again. And within 30 days, she was on the dance floor dancing. Like, and then I'm like, should I have given it more time with my daughter? I mean, all the, second opinions and stuff. I don't know. So that stuff's always replaying through my head. Like, did I make a bad decision type of thing? And
Nope.
I don't know. I don't think so, but
You didn't.
I think in my head, it makes me so sad. We should be so pissed if we didn't do it.
oh man,
She'd hate us.
yeah, yeah, and and I remember very like Kylie and I had an on and off relationship for the past couple of years, which is like probably the worst part of this whole thing. But like I remember her saying this is like this past year, because we went out on her birthday, for her birthday. It was March 16th of last year, which is coming up, and we went to the lake house. And I remember we were talking about Tyler, and like she's like, Dad, Tyler's such a good kid, like. That, because Kylie knew she was a handful, like she was handfuls, putting it lightly, and but she would talk. She's like, I love him so much. He's such a good kid, and but they both, I'm grateful for everything. I say this. I'm grateful for all the things we went through with her, because again, it goes back to the whole church thing. Like if I didn't go through that, but
it kind of makes me think like you have to, as we talked back to that, like your demons know you.
Yeah.
And they,
yeah.
In the case of making that decision,
Yeah.
like 100%,
Yeah.
like you it sucks.
Yeah.
But your demons are following you back up and want you to think that was a bad decision.
I know. And I took her to get her permit when she was 16. And I remember having a conversation with her about her, like, do you want to be an organ donor? And like, without, she didn't hesitate. Like, yeah, what am I going to do with organs if something happens to me? That's a fair way to look at it, and like, that was, it was surreal when we got this letter in the mail. And I know it was like, her organs and stuff were like donated to a lot of, like, 5 different people.
That's awesome.
So that was the plus side of it. And she would be proud of that. So
Yeah.
For sure.
But, man, so
No,
the things
absolutely.
you wouldn't wish upon anybody. But
Have you, it's been a little bit of time. Have you had any contact with anybody?
I've thought about it, because I get things in the mail from it's called Donate Life.
Okay.
And I've gotten the form and stuff, and I thought about it, and then I normally read it and read, like, because it like you can fill out essentially, because it's weird. It's not like you can just reach out to the people and know who they are. Like, you have to fill something out that goes back to the company, and that person would have had to also mutually fill something out, because
that company
HIPAA and
reaches
stuff like that.
Absolutely, 100%.
But
like a third
I've
party
thought
guy.
about it.
That may be something in the future. if
That
you're
would
in
that would be
ability
neat
to.
for sure.
I would be 100% all for it.
I think it would give me a sense of like fulfillment, at least
Yeah.
from the loss. At least
Yeah.
there's that to gain. But it's crazy the people that she affected, though. Like, it had a little bit of a story on each one. But yeah. I don't know.
Wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's things you don't think about per se in that decision, in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, you have this huge loss, and then you like, oh well, I got to make this decision, and
Yeah, she talked about like the funeral arrangements, which
Yeah.
I like the Abundant Life Community Church and the Nun and Harbor Funeral Home. Like, they
Did everything.
They did everything, aside from me having to sign paperwork, which that was weird. That was a very numb time frame where I'm going into, sign paperwork for my kid's cremation. Like, it was weird. I wasn't emotional going in there. I was nothing. And I've said this a couple times. Like, I would rather be deathly emotional or like, cry my eyes out, then there's nothing worse than being numb. Like, I'm a very emotional person. I'm very in tune to my emotions, so I'd rather be happy, sad, whatever it is, but numb. I can't handle that crap.
Yeah.
And
when you're numb, it's tough. Then you start questioning, are you really even
Yeah.
It's
Right. Yeah.
where am I if I'm not feeling anything?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's your sense of life.
Sometimes I am feeling
Yeah.
nothing, and I know my brain is like distracting myself to stay
Protecting.
sane like every day,
I think about
to work and to just do life, but to be strong for him and for Bradley and for Melanie and Taylor. And it's like, I feel like, what was it, like last week or the week before, I just had a really hard week because I was like, with Tyler specifically, I'm like, I just feel different. I'm missing him like so much this week. And it just hits you differently in waves, like different times.
Yeah.
There's still like
Weird.
a lot of people like handle things differently. Like the one like you know, there's literally, we have a bag of sunflower seeds that has been in the bottom of this drawer where we keep like our chips and stuff, and it's just like, I haven't thrown it. I'm sure they're all stale at this point. You know, that was the like last bag of sunflower seeds. They're
Is it
mine
open?
that you stole from me. But
Yeah, we
And,
still,
What's
though,
his last trick?
yeah,
we have his loofah still in our shower too, and it's like something so weird that
stupid.
people would think about, but it's like,
it's not weird though, because that's
Yeah.
what, like,
yeah,
you're in the shower, you're like, oh, there's mine, there's his.
yeah,
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
like, it's a quick reminder, but
Yeah.
good and bad,
yeah.
right,
you know?
right.
I still have socks in that couch, and where the remotes go, because my mom would come over and sit and like
Yeah.
mate the socks, and he's trying to get rid of them. I'm
Yeah.
like, we can't.
I
Yeah.
get it.
They have to stay there.
yeah, right.
Do you know, I don't know if you guys knew, but in January, I mean, I think I posted on Facebook. You probably knew like how they crowned Tyler as the prom king this year. Well, I went there and to thank the junior class, and like my biggest fear, ironically, it's like you'd think I'd be comfortable speaking in front of people. I'm not. I'm terrified of speaking in front of like 130 kids in the junior class. But like I talked to them. She actually came for it. It was pretty cool, and you know, and I didn't write anything down. I just was me, and I was nervous, but I like, oh dude, like there's something about thinking, just like literally, you know, envisioning like, what if I was in that class, like being that person, to be like, what if you're able to impact one person to talk about? Because you know, and that was part of what I said to them. Like, everybody here is going to hit rock bottom at some point in your life. And I said, including the teachers, and I pointed out, like, including the principal. I pointed at Mr. Freddie, and like it's. But I'm like, if you can think back to your junior year of high school, to that awkward person that's nervously standing in front of the auditorium, and think about what he was able to navigate and not give up, like, you got no excuse.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. And I think like that should be a message for everybody too, though. Like, you know, we're all gonna go through hard times, and
That makes foundation for you to
Yeah.
and I
going up.
hope to
Go back
God,
up, and it's okay to rip it down to the foundation again.
right.
yeah,
Start
Redo
back.
it. That's
Yeah.
right. yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
whether it
it's-
looks different
yep.
the second time or
Right.
whatever, doesn't matter.
Yep. Exactly.
It's okay
yeah,
to rip things down when it needs to be ripped down.
Yep.
yeah.
Not necessarily advising, you know, family being involved.
Yeah,
in your
Right.
case,
yeah,
but
no, I know.
you know, from a relationship perspective
Right.
or just a life perspective.
Yeah.
Like, if you are finding yourself in the wrong path,
Yeah.
okay, change it, rip
Yeah.
it down.
Exactly.
You're one decision away from a completely different
Yeah.
life.
I mean, you
Yeah.
look at
For sure.
people who I'm not a huge Jelly Roll fan,
Yeah.
but somebody who made some bad choices along the way and found his gift along, you know, in regards and rebuilt his life.
yeah, and help people. In the
Hopefully in a
process.
better
Right.
way. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, it is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
he's good for him for doing that and being open about it
Yeah,
Yeah.
and talking, because
Yeah.
that again creates more,
yeah,
you know, more relationship. And even if it's someone you never met.
yeah.
More hope.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, they're pretty fun.
Yeah.
Are we maxed out here?
Did you lose
No, we got a lot though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll kill this guy. We can maybe we could do something again some point in the
Yeah.
future, and that'd be cool.
Definitely.
I appreciate this though, guys.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
this is good. It's probably
too.
this is therapy for me. I feel like more so than anything.
Me
so.
It's
too.
okay. That's what it's here for.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I
matter.
seriously, like, if I probably should have said it on
I didn't
phone.
kill the recording yet. So
What?
we're still saying
That's my hope, like, for just us in general, like this place and us, is to, like, I want people to come here and dump it
yeah.
and have a place to go. Like, I've always been that person though. Like, good, you got something hard, good, I want to sit with you. Like, let's hear it, let's figure it out, you know, like, and I want that for our kids and for our families and community.
For your kids and for
Yes.
like, yes.
Yeah.
Like,
For anybody, it doesn't
Like a
matter.
judgment free. Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
You know.
I actually remember when Colton and Tyler were playing, your Tyler and our Colton were playing baseball.
Oh.
And you guys just moved into the house. And you were like, bring the kids over. I just want all the kids around. And like, I keep thinking about that. Like this past month, I was like, I just want all the kids.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
If they're here, they're safe. Like bring their
Yeah.
families,
Yeah.
all the things. Like,
It's like you just want your house to be the place where the kids feel
Yeah.
comfortable, that they want to
Yeah.
go hang out, and
Yeah.
you know, like all the bikes are out front type of thing,
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
yeah,
100%.
yeah,
Like, be the posse. That's fine.
and I think too, like with my job, I can kind of work with parents too. And it's like,
yeah,
everybody needs somebody sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And just to have somewhere to go.
Everybody's struggling in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
oh, for sure,
Across the
So-
board.
yep,
It's just that.
Which you'll never correct, right? Like, you're never going to prevent everybody from struggling.
right.
But if they have someone to talk to, or just
show up and
show up for them,
You know.
regardless of the situation,
Yeah.
you know, it's going to help.
yeah,
Even a little bit.
I have a lot of kids that come in and
yeah,
sit in my room, and I'm like, you just need quiet? Do you want me to ask you questions?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
are we talking, or is this just a space thing?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
just to, like, people need to know that, you know, just that
And,
they have
and,
that.
and like in regards to kids too, a lot of them don't have accountability.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
What are you doing? You
Oh
know,
my
I've asked
Yeah.
the boys' friends, like,
Yeah.
yep,
was that a smart decision?
right,
Yeah.
Like, can you just tell me was that
Yeah.
smart? Well, no.
There's no repercussions
All
for
right.
my actions. So
You know,
why-
let's
No.
talk about that. Like,
Yeah.
you should have been wearing your helmet. Type of like, it's gone as petty as that. Like,
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
you have been going over that jump without a helmet on?
Yeah.
Like, is that really that smart?
right,
You know, and I'm not their dad, so it's like you feel bad, weird about it, but at the same time, like,
maybe they need to hear
Hey.
it from somewhere. It
Some
doesn't matter
kids
who it
just
is.
need Somebody to care. So.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, that's unfortunate too.
I'm gonna
Like a
kill
whole nother
this so that
discussion.
we can grab some more wine maybe. And
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
thank you guys though.